1, 2, 3, 4. Down to the VHS. VHS out of the VHS. It's the 18 of my business. Cause I was out of the house and doing stuff. Smoking the Wi-Fi beverages. And I guess that's the way it goes. Down to the VHS. VHS out of the VHS. Got no money, fucking crack, saving up for the Betamax. Down to the VHS, VHS out of the VHS.
We're live.
Greetings.
Hello.
Hi. It's tape time.
Is it?
Yeah, we're gonna watch some tapes.
Are we?
Yeah, my watch just said so.
Oh.
It's tape time.
My watch doesn't tell me much.
Doesn't tell you the time. Did you pack your shirt?
Oh, no, I didn't. I just forgot about it.
Oh, what's been happening in the last week? Well, for one thing, your house is in shambles because you're gonna pack everything up and get rid of it. Going, where are we gonna do tape time from now on?
Different house.
In a different house.
Yeah, apparently we're going to move sometime in the near future, so I'm basically packing all my crap away. And
There's boxes everywhere, and he sent all the VHS home with me, so there's no more pull out a random one and say, this is what we're watching. I'm going to create it all for a little bit.
yeah, that's going to be the way that it goes. Whether that's fortunate or unfortunate remains to be seen.
Well, for today, it's going to be unfortunate, because, oh my god.
What perfect timing for me to be sick, right?
Yeah, I know.
I got food poisoning.
Yeah.
Eating some wings.
All them cheap half-off wings give you the half-off food poisoning.
Oh god, and I'm still suffering from it. It's 2 days and I still feel like shit.
Oh man, I had the same wings. Nothing happened to me. I guess
It was probably the other ones that I got.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Like, don't they just put different sauces on the same wings? Who knows?
I don't know. Whatever it was, it fucking hurt. It was not nice.
Maybe
The
you
first
got the
night was
corona.
agony. I don't think it was the corona because I could taste the wings.
Couldn't really taste mine that much. They're spicy. That's why you
very
got different
spicy.
ones.
Yeah, so I've been sick,
Mm.
not feeling good.
Which means that you didn't want to drink, which means I'm going to drink on my own today.
Yeah, no drinking for me,
Which
unfortunately.
means I don't get interesting beer, I just get cheap-ass cider.
Yeah, I don't think my stomach could handle alcohol right now.
That's alright. Maybe you'll feel better in like an hour and you'll want to run across the road.
I'm not running anywhere.
Gently walking. Either way, there's some cash there if you need something, whether
I
it's
appreciate
food, booze, or otherwise. We'll get
I
there.
appreciate it.
So we'll start talking about videos now.
If you want, I mean, I was going to rant about how my air conditioner's broken.
All right,
It's
rant
gonna be
about your air
34 degrees
conditioner
tomorrow,
first.
and
Go
I'm
on.
mad.
It's hot and
It's going to be like 27 today. Okay, so I can deal with the heat. I hate it a lot.
that's because you're the other white meat.
Yeah, but I can deal with it. But the problem is, like, it's gonna get so hot in Jackson's room. He's probably gonna like not fucking sleep.
Don't cook
At
the
night.
baby.
Don't cook the baby, right?
Yeah, it's not
Which
about
means
you.
when it gets really warm and we don't have the aircon to cool the room down, because the aircon's actually on right now, but it's not doing anything because it's
Yep.
fucked. But if his room doesn't get cool, then we have to leave the door open, and then you have the dogs outside, who will then be inside. They're outside because I'm mad at them. But
They kept going Bork.
They just wouldn't stop. And so now I have to replace the goddamn air conditioner or something. And
Hi, Ganachos.
Hey, Gancho's TV. What's up, man? How you been?
Play some Donkey
For the
Kong.
past
That's
few
not
hours.
what we're doing today.
The plan for me eventually is to go to bed and just play Donkey Kong, honestly.
Oh, man. I tell you what, being without an air conditioning in Australian heat, it's not great.
Australian heat is brutal.
Like, even when it's lows, it just stings.
The sun is just mean.
It's trying to kill us.
It's not like a heat that you can get away from. It's a heat that is just everywhere.
Yeah, and some old idiots decide that when it's like really hot outside, it's a great idea to go sit in the middle of the ocean and try and catch fish.
What kind of person would do that?
My grandfather, for one. But it is an interesting thing that I'm going to talk about tapes a little bit.
No, it's time. It's time for the transition. We're going in.
It is time for the transition. So we're watching fishing stuff today, and the thing about fishing stuff is when we went up shopping and we were looking for stuff, like fishing videos are a huge thing. Like they are. Look, we've got
so many of them.
We've got way too many. I think we deliberately avoided some because we got sick of buying.
We probably did.
Fish videos. But this one that we're going to watch first is I love the title of it. It's called Squidgy
Secrets.
Squidgy Secrets. Now, is that an Australian word?
I don't know. It's got to be either Australian or British.
It sounds so Australian. So Squidgy is these little fake plastic things you stick on the end of your hook, and they're going to teach us about that. And the guys who are going to teach us, their names are Starlo and Bushy. Very Australian names.
If they're not Aussie, I will be very surprised.
They are totally Aussie, so...
You've always wanted to learn how to fish. Well, now you're going to learn the Squidgy Secrets.
Yeah, part 2, Beyond the Basics. We already learned the basics, so
basics are for noobs.
We're going straight on. So
we're going hard mode.
I like the stickers on this as well. They're like coloured and stuff.
Beautiful.
So Bushy is just some old guy with a mustache. No one cares about Bushy, but Starlo. Remember when Rex Hunt had the TV show? And it couldn't be Rex Hunt the whole time. They had to have other people on. Starlo was actually a Rex Hunt person. So he used to be on TV. Even though this whole video doesn't really seem like it. I'm going to let it play. So he's a big TV star. I got in contact with his manager and said, "Hey, you wanna maybe do a 10-minute Zoom interview or just a phone interview or something?" And they're like, "What's in it for us?"
G'day, I'm Steve Starling and welcome to Squidgy Secrets Part 2.
They wanted to make it win-win.
By now, a lot of you have probably already watched the first production in this series.
I didn't.
Squidgy Secrets Part 1,
Squidgy.
The Basics.
The
That
basics.
instructional presentation dealt with the absolute fundamentals of fishing with soft plastics, such as the Blue Fox Squidgies that my mate Bushy and I have designed specifically to suit
It's
Aussie
so
fish.
Australian. Like, this
In
is going to
part
be
one, we
terrible
dealt
because
primarily
fishing
with
is
rigging,
boring.
presenting,
But
and working
it's the
species.
accent
And
that's
I
going
have
to
just
make it
Southern
talked to my
estuary
wife about
species,
air conditioning
fish
stuff
like
at the same
flathead,
time, so...
brim,
That's right, that
and
means you
estuary
actually pay
perch.
attention a
In
little.
the second
Well, me
instalment,
anyway.
we're going to expand your horizons a little bit, take on some new species, travel to the tropical north of the country, and in particular, show you some of the tackle and the rigs that we use to effectively fish our Squidgy soft plastics. A little bit later in the show, Bushy will be joining me, but right now I'm here with my good mate Ian Barra-Miller, who builds some of the best
feel free
fishing
to
rods in the
turn it down
world,
if you want.
and also helped to
I
design
only turned it
many
up
of the
because
items in the
of
Squidgy range,
the pitch
particularly the
issues they had
spinner baits that
earlier.
we'll be showing you a little bit later in this episode as well. Now, we're going to go after some Barra and some Saratoga today, here on Corroboree Lagoon in the Northern Territory. We're looking forward to it, aren't we, mate?
We sure are, mate, and it's a great day, and we're in good hands too because we're being
So
guided
this
by
guy
Scotty
isn't
Eccles,
Bushy.
Darwin-based for the last 6 or so years,
I
guiding
think his name
professionally
is
and one of the
Barra
premier guides in
because
the
he
territory.
catches
So,
barracudas
mate,
or something.
we're ready when you
I
are.
don't know.
Fire up,
His
Scott.
name is Ian. Why is Barra a nickname for it? No, that's
This
Scott.
picturesque
There's somebody
body of
else.
water is part of the extensive Mary River system in the Northern Territory,
Mary?
east of Darwin.
So
During the dry
Really has a
season, it
little bit
consists
of,
of a string of water holes,
damage.
two of the
Just
largest and best
Oh,
known of which
yeah,
are
yeah.
I'm hearing
Corroboree
a bit of,
Lagoon and
yeah,
Shady
the
Dam.
ups and downs. Yeah. We've
As well as
noticed that
being
on a
great
lot of
fishing
our
spots,
trips.
the Mary's waterholes offer visitors spectacular
So,
scenery and a whole host
It
of
kind of
top-end
seems to
wildlife.
me when we were
But it's
looking
the
at a lot of these
underwater
videos
life
is
we're most
they don't
interested
really
in.
teach you that much.
No.
It's more like a video where they
We've chosen to kick off here
They're
in
just
Corroboree
going
by
on
casting
holiday
a few
and claiming it on
standard
tax.
squidgy jigs along the
Squidgy
outside
jigs.
edges of the fringing lily pads, and we don't have to wait long for a bit of action.
Which is
Even if
it's
not
a
the Barra
pretty
or
cool
Saratoga
concept
we
to
were
me. I
hoping
would
for.
quite happily do similar things. Just take advantage of life. But
I tell you what, if I end up making a lot of Dogecoin, it's not happening. But if it does happen,
then you're going to register the business.
then
you're
I'm
go
going
on
to do an
holiday, film it.
episode of cinema where I watch a censored version of Houseboat Horror on a houseboat in the same place it was
Are you
filmed.
going to have to censor it yourself? Or?
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to make a lot of money. We can just do that as long as we've got babysitters and
It
stuff.
costs like heaps of money to rent a houseboat.
Mate, that was just on that slow
Come on,
wind
we can
again.
do it.
Yeah, just
I'll look it up right here.
Wind, was it?
I looked it up a while ago.
I'd love to. I mean,
wind.
that's the thing. You need to register the business
Out the
first.
environment for that one, mate.
The whole Twitch thing is a business,
yeah.
and then we can claim it on tax.
Nice one, he climbed on. He did.
Of course, you'd have to make money first to be able to claim it on tax.
That's what it's all about.
That's
What colour,
it's all
squidgy are you on there, mate?
Whoa!
That's
Look at the colour of that
the mermaid
fish.
colours,
Orange.
neon.
The neon, yep, in the fish.
What I've done as well.
But I thought we were meant to be learning like secrets about squidgies.
No, they just want to catch some fish.
It's just gone fishing.
Nice for this time of year, mate.
Gone fishing.
Let's see here.
Beautiful.
So far, I haven't learned.
Have a look at him.
So when I
out there,
contacted him, I offered the Zoom
Squidgy Barra bait
interview
caster.
or a phone interview. I also said, but we're down in
Beautiful.
by the
golden
bay.
colour.
We've got a
much
lovely
beautiful
fishing
colours.
thing
It's just
here.
up
Maybe
there
you
in
could
a hinge
come
of
down
the
and take
jaw.
a fishing. And when they said win-win,
Because I'll tell you what, after getting a few of those tarpon
I don't know.
fighting the
is it
lure, it's a
sausage
different
sizzle
kettle of fish
win-win?
when the
It
real
is
one
to
jumps
me.
on.
He was in close to
I can offer
Carter
a
there, wasn't he?
sausage
Yeah, just
sizzle.
like one of those clear pockets amongst the lily
So you're
pad.
getting it in there, not letting it sink very far, and just a steady
That's
sort of
right. Yeah,
retrieve.
yeah. There's a lot of weed,
Are we in the thousands or
stems, and
hundreds?
lilies in there, so you can't let it sink too far. But just a nice slow wind,
Fun.
and
But
yeah,
Maybe,
it's
maybe we
developing
can
a
make
bit
it
of a
worth
pattern,
our
I think,
while
mate.
by filming horror
bring it
movie
back
while
and
we're
let's
there.
It is for 7 nights though.
Oh, we don't want 7 nights. We want 1 night.
I don't know if they do that.
Oh, maybe we
Despite
can
the
ring 'em up.
obvious effectiveness of the neon-coloured squidgy
Sort out
Fishy
here.
started out with, Ian has
Anyway,
listened to Scott
back to
Eccles'
fishing.
advice and
Look at that,
decided to swap
green.
colours to something even brighter. He
Yeah,
starts
that,
by loop knotting a pink and silver painted squidgy fish head jig to his 15-kilo nylon leader.
did you hear that?
Ian
He's
uses a
loop
4
knotting
or
a
5
squidgy
turn uni knot
pink
tightened
fish
short of the
jig.
jig's eye to create the
So
loop.
he's
This will enhance the action of the lure.
Count the crotch shots.
just want to tighten it up and leave it as a loop.
Oh, can we?
This is why I wish I wasn't sick. Drink every
Next,
time.
Ian
there's a crotch
selects a
shot.
hot pink
Alright.
killer tomato
You can see
squidgy
his
fish
ball
tail in
hanging
the
down
number
and
5 size
everything.
and fits it carefully onto the jig,
Thanks for
measuring it up first to make sure it
bringing that
lays
to my
nice and straight.
attention. Ugh. Was that some slow-mo squidgies?
Well done.
Man said to use pink. How about that?
Well done. That fish likes pink squidgies. You're a pro at this.
Rule number 1. Fishing guide says to use a colour, just use it.
Oh yeah. Follow the instructions.
The guide says do it, then do it.
So I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I actually had hundreds of fishing trophies growing up.
Yeah, you've told me that.
As the
I
sun
was
gets
a
higher, the
big
fish tuck
fisherman.
closer to shade
I
and
hated
cover,
it,
so
but I
reasonably
did it.
accurate casting is fairly important when you're
Fishing
working the
seems
weed
like a great
beds and lily
opportunity for
edges
fishing.
like
That's
this.
what-
Luckily, there's nearly always
Tax
something
write-off,
interesting
man.
That's
to
the
aim
problem
at
with all of
on a
these
top-end
kinds of
billabong,
things.
and that
Oh, they're in
tends to
danger.
keep your casting
Oh,
focused.
it's just a little croc. He's fine.
So how long would it take you to
don't.
train this crocodile?
Oh. Okay, that was alright. I just didn't want the hook to get caught in him. That would be rude.
That would have been awful.
Is that
One time when I was fishing,
looks like
there
one.
was
Oh,
a
nice
flock of
fish.
seagulls flying
That's
past.
a big
They
Saratoga.
didn't
They
go
run so far away.
But I actually
says put a
I
pink
cast
one on.
out
Put a
anyway.
pink one on.
Because I was an idiot
It's working
kid.
well for you. That is a
And I caught a
lovely
seagull.
Saratoga.
Nice.
Had to let
Yeah,
it go,
I'll
of course,
didn't I?
because you're not allowed to eat those. Although we should have.
Where is he?
You're not let it either.
Alright, you ready?
Not good.
Oh, what a beautiful fish.
I mean, it was a competition down at Seagull Paddock,
Oh, okay.
and I couldn't exactly weigh in a seagull, could I? I actually won that competition because I caught a bottom-feeding trench, and it
That's a
was
nice one,
like
isn't
Dumping
it?
Saratoga.
twice as big as anything that anyone else caught. Because they
Larry Creed's
seed
really
down
doing
at
the job,
the
isn't it?
Seagull Paddock. They put rainbow
These are
trout
a bit,
in there.
bit
But
toothy
the
for that,
trench is
aren't
one
they,
of the
mate?
fish that kind of just lives in the muck
Yeah,
there.
snap 'em right.
So it was like really old and big. That was cheap.
You get the lure out, mate.
Corner of the jaw again there.
You're just
Now
working
kiss
those
it,
weed
throw it
pockets, aren't
back.
you?
Yeah, I'm just dropping it in any
Just
little
like your friend
gap between
Rex.
the lily pads there and just slow rolling it out. Just a nice slow wind.
Is it
It's
just
like
me
an
or
egg.
does
Working fish.
Rex Hunt
Just
sound
a
like one of
living
those
fossil
fossy
of
running slang
Saratoga.
things?
I know, right? It does.
Let's measure him up.
It's funny that we've got hold of this guy's video, the guy who was also on the Rex Hunt show, but not Rex Hunt. But I don't think we actually have any Rex Hunt
Nearly
videos.
70 centimetres, 68, 69 centimetres.
We've got a couple of the
Saratoga.
people that were on Channel 31 that we'll be
Squidgy
exploring next
fishing
time
at
we
its
do a fish
best, mate.
episode.
He pulled a bit of line off you
He
there
did.
too, didn't he?
He did. Oh, they're so deep in the body they can
I
really.
couldn't go.
pull
I
hard when
just
they
wanted
get
to do
very
something either sport related,
Let's get him back in the water. I'll put him in over here for you.
but like not sport. It was either going to be this or like
So you know it's a Rex Hunt guy.
Because he's putting it
they're
back.
putting it back.
yeah.
Off you go, mate.
It's either going to be fishies or BMX parts.
Although Ian had nailed a couple of lovely fish along the edges, the bite was shutting
I'm actually
down
looking
now
forward
as the
to
sun
starting
got
all your
higher, and we
videos out
figured a
and just
move
putting
was in order.
Up with everything.
Scott had another spot in mind, one with denser cover for the fish. And although it was a bit of
You
a
say you
run,
wouldn't get
there's
rid of
always
this.
plenty to look at when you're cruising
You want to
these
just drop it
wonderful
off at my
top-end
garage,
water
I can
holes.
probably use it.
You have it if you want it.
No hassle dropping it off.
I don't know how we would, but I mean, we can figure it out.
Just chuck it on the trailer.
Ian and I are kicking
can
off
break
by
it a
throwing
little bit if you want,
completely
I'll fix
unweighted
it.
squidgies right back here into the lily pads.
Unweighted
We've just got
squidgies in
squidgy
the
fish and
lilies.
squidgy shad tails on wide gape
My
worm
God.
hooks.
Can we?
We've got
Alright.
no other weight on
We're
there
8 minutes
whatsoever. We're
into this
using
1 hour
gel
video.
spun line
I'm gonna
and a
start
fairly
drinking
strong,
every time he
about
says
15
squidgy,
kilo
okay?
leader. And we're just hoying it right back in there. We don't care whether we hit the water or not, because the way we've got them rigged up,
I wish I
they're
wasn't
fairly
sick enough to
snag
play along.
resistant. You can just pull them through and
can play
over the
along,
leaves
just
and
go
drop
get
them
the
into the
milk.
little patches of water. Getting a fish out is going to be no easy task. And then a little bit later we'll start
I wanna
working
see
the
it come out
outside
your
edges here
nose.
with some of Ian's squidgy spinner baits. This is a fun way to go
That's
fishing.
Squidgy.
You reckon getting a fish out is going to be tough, mate? I'm finding it hard just getting the lure into the water.
This is a highly visual and very exciting way to fish, and the first thing you need to train yourself to do is to throw that lure deep into snaggy country that you'd normally avoid.
Snaggy country. Is that where we get our democracy
here, all right.
sausages?
I love that.
Weedless, unweighted soft
Do you reckon
plastics
more
open up
people in
all
the
sorts
States
of
would vote
opportunities in places
in the
like this,
States?
which
If
are
they got a
effectively
democracy
out
If
of
there
reach to
was
more
like a
conventional
sausage sizzle
techniques.
there.
And when you see a fish move
You
like
mean
this,
dog
there's
fry.
nothing to stop you getting a cast
what's it
straight
called?
onto
The
it.
barbecue.
What's it called when they do barbecues in the back of their truck over there?
I don't know.
Tailgate party. Yeah. Have tailgate parties at the voting. I love that.
Maybe I should move to America and make it catch on.
Make it
Start
catch
it.
Got him.
The voting
I watched
tailgate.
him eat it.
We don't just have to tailgate at sporting
little
events. We can do it at the votes. Flip those burgers.
That was great. I saw him actually
Best man!
come out of
What's
the
that
water
mean?
chasing something else, and I just threw it in there and let it sink, and I saw him swim over, eat it, and I just let him turn his head down.
There he is.
Bob's your uncle. Pinned him through the bottom
Bob's
jaw
your
in that
uncle.
magic little spot. Only a little one.
Bob's not my uncle.
Ooh.
Ah,
Get you to throw him back over the side for me, Ian.
kiss him first. You got to give him a kiss and say, "I'll catch
That's
you later."
Rex. That's what Rex does.
Is that like a copyrighted thing that no one's else is allowed to do on their videos?
I have no idea.
That would be pretty funny because I don't think you can actually copyright like concepts like that.
No, I don't think you'll be able to.
There's a
But
lot
I
more to
do
what we're
think
doing
that
here than just mechanically
because he was
casting and
friends with
cranking.
Rex, he'd
We're
probably get,
working
like,
those
into
unweighted
the
plastics
bad
every
book
centimetre of the way.
lawsuits
crawling them
happening.
over lily pads
Or
and
maybe
round
he's just like,
stems,
yeah, but
letting
kissing
them
a raw
drop
fish
into
is
likely
gross.
gaps and holes, and jiggling the
Yeah.
rod tip to impart additional action.
I actually went to Rex
thinking
Hunt's
fishing, and it's
fish and
also
chip
lots of
shop
fun.
when I was in Tasmania.
No, we have.
Oh, he has his own chain of restaurants, yeah. He just bought it and then sold it. So, like, when we go to the fish and chip shop, we spend like a $5.
That unweighted squidgy, I'm working like a
chips,
charm.
right? It's like
Oh,
a
you can
cheap
hear the
way
fish
of
splashing.
eating. Yeah, no, there's none of that. There's like high.
Look at that, he's
high
dived
fine
down through the
dining.
weed.
And I don't
They're
even
amazing.
eat
They're just in this
fish,
tiny
but I
little
was
bit of a
dragged
creek
along
mouth
by
here.
the
It's just
then
enough to hold a bunch
mother-in-law.
of fish. They're only
Of
small
course.
barra.
And even the
That
chips
unweighted
tasted
gold
fishy.
squidgy shad
Hated every second
you
of
rigged
it.
up earlier. That is
That'll be
really
a no
doing the
from me,
goods.
dog.
Absolutely.
The colour
I
of
agree
this
with
barra-
that, Craig,
Actually, you know,
completely.
it's quite interesting. The golds in the
Actually,
in the
when I
tail
was in my
are quite
mid-20s, I
similar to
went
some of the
fishing
golds in
with
the flanks of
Scott
that
and
little
his
barra.
then
They're
ex-Jess.
Really pretty little
But
fish,
we didn't
aren't they?
take rods.
No, why would you?
We just took bottles of booze, and
Look at this crocky.
Jess
Yeah, you
got
better get
really
him back in
upset with us
quick.
because she thought we
Yeah,
were going
that way,
fishing.
yeah.
And we're like, no, we're just going to get
way.
drunk on the shore.
You want to just pull that off the hook, Ian, and just show the folks how
The thing
to
is,
use
if
the
you,
unweighted squidgy
like-
on one of these wide gape worm hooks.
If someone walks up to you and you're just sitting on the pier
Okay, well,
drinking,
just
they
take this
might be
lure
like,
right off the
oh,
hook and I'll
shifty
show you
characters.
from scratch how to rig it.
But if you just have
This is
a rod
squidgy shad
sitting
we've been
against
using
the
today,
thing,
and it's got a great action when it's
no one will
focused
bat a fucking
like
eye.
this on a worm style.
Brilliant.
You can
Yep.
see that hook's a very strange shape. It's got a little kink in the shank right up near the
Actually,
eye, and that's
public drinking
important.
here in
But
Australia is kind
what's
of
going to happen is that hook's going to sit
Yeah,
right
it
in the
depends
soft plastic,
where.
just like that. So
How
only the eye's
intoxicated
coming out of the
you
front of the lure,
I think that's
and
the
only
problem.
the hook
is
point will be coming out of the front of the
intoxication
lure,
rather than the actual
and
drinking.
that shank there will act as a keel.
Yo,
So to
Moblin.
actually thread it
This
in,
is called a hook.
you put the hook in the front of the shad like that, and straight out underneath the chin.
I
of the
always
shad.
loved squidgies when I
Thread the
was.
hook right on and then actually turn it
fishing.
around.
Don't know if they ever worked, but I
So
liked getting them
that'll
because I used to
actually-
go to a
Lay nice and flat like that. Now
a
we've got to
big
put the
convention
point of the
that was
hook in
kinda
the
like,
shad as
I
well.
don't know, packs
You have a
for
look and
fishing.
you'll be able to see
And I
where-
met-
roughly where that
Terrible.
point should go in. So you
Ultimately,
actually turn
I've
the lure
probably
over,
met Starlo before
it in
because
the
I
belly
met a
of the
whole
lure,
bunch of like famous fishermen, like the Freddie
straight up
Flathead,
through
I
the
met
back of the
him,
lure,
and
like
I
that,
think
out
I
the
met
top.
Rex
Never
Hunt
heard.
once.
I've only heard of Rex Hunt.
and there you have
We
it.
only heard of Rex
So the
Hunt.
hook's actually
But
quite
there's also
nicely in
that,
the lure there.
that wanker who has
This front
this
part here,
Foxtel show
that
that I've
kink
seen.
in
I
the
don't know
shank's
his
going to
name,
hold
but-
it, and the hook point while it's
But yeah, I
exposed
used to get
is
dragged
actually
along to those
sitting on the back of
shows
the lure, and that
and
makes
met
it very
people. And we
weedless.
used to
And you can
get
also
show
cast
bags,
it
and
in the
we'd take
snags
our
as
show
well.
bag around to
Shouldn't
all
hook
the
anything
different
until the
places
fish
they give
grabs
us
it,
a
and when
sample.
that happens,
And I just
give it a
come
little
home with
time to
like
make sure the
hundreds
fish
of
has
these
got it in
little
its
squishy
mouth
fishy
before you
things.
strike, and you do strike the fish.
He should be
And,
called Rex.
That should be all you need to do.
Rex
They're still
fish.
biting here, we'll see if we can
Kisses
get another
them
one.
and
I
sets
missed
them
about four
hunt.
while you were rigging that one to get it in.
Oh, well.
Yeah, because he's not hunting, he's fishing. He could
He's
be Rex
hunting
Hunt
fish.
if he was out and like getting deer or
The way
something.
we've been
He's
retrieving
hunting
these today has
He's
been
hunting
with
fish.
quite a slow retrieve
Can you
too.
fish for bear?
Twitching the rod,
You could probably
making the
use
lure sort of
fish
kick in the
to
water
hunt
like a
a bear.
wounded fish.
What if you get one of those
Those of
big
you that are
robot
familiar with a
suits
walking the
and
dog
they go
type
and punch
retrieve, you
bear in
can
the
do
face
the
like
same
Project
thing with these
Grizzly
as well,
did?
and that'll kick them through the
Did he
water and let them
eventually
sit
die?
and start to
Yeah,
dive.
he
and
did. He
that's when you
died.
get bitten.
I feel like he did, right? I need
This
to
is
look it
also
up now. I
another
watched
thing
that
you couldn't
movie, and
do
the
with
whole
a-
thing
with
was
an
like,
overhead
oh
outfit.
my
Do you
god.
think
You
that
need
some one of
the
the
spin
movies
tackle
that
to
we
do this
might
sort
be
of
able
thing?
to watch on
You
like
do,
this or
because the
Cinema Time or
lures that
something, do you think
when
maybe
you're
there's,
ending
like,
up with are fairly
black
light. I don't
copyright
know
on
what
that?
just a tail and a hook would weigh, but
Because
it's
that would be
probably only
amazing
about
to watch.
3 or 4 grams at most. It'd be very, very hard to throw on a bait caster, but a breeze to throw off one of these Shimano threadline reels on our barra spin rods.
Oh, they're sponsored
Now,
by
don't get the idea
Shimano.
that
They said
squidgies
Shimano,
only
they're
work on
sponsored
these
by
little lagoon
Shimano.
barra. Take a look
Do
at
they
this
have
beauty
to,
that our mate
like,
Andrew
disclose when
E.T.
they're
Eddinghausen landed
sponsored by
recently
Shimano?
while tweaking a weighted squidgy in another
Because I
top-end
have
river
to
system.
disclose when I'm sponsored by
I've been waiting for
anybody.
this big fish for ages on the fly, but unfortunately
It
it
says
wasn't
squidgy
coming, so I
something
thought I'll put a soft plastic on and have a bit of a toss. As soon as I did, right along the edge here,
Did you hear
hooked
that?
into a
No,
big
sorry.
fish.
I put a
Actually
soft
saw it when it
plastic
first
on, had a
came
bit
up.
of a toss.
The size of
Call
this
him
fish.
Bubba.
I'm just using a
Sorry
little
for
bit
those
of
that have
thumb just
joined.
to
I
bring it
am
back.
currently talking to my wife because we have to get our air conditioner replaced before before we move. So,
Woo!
and tomorrow's going to be really
Took a
fucking hot,
squidgy.
so it's awesome.
A lovely
It's
little
awesome.
squidgy. Not bad, is it, eh?
Squidgy!
Well, that's what they can
Okay.
expect now.
Meanwhile, back
I'm
on
also
the
not
Mary,
drinking
Ian and I are
beer
still
because
having a
I'm
ball
drink the
playing in the
Bucklers.
lilies.
Keep winding, winch him out, winch him out.
He made a big mistake.
And then I'll go home and I'll cry at my wife and then talk about how it's okay because it's an alternate universe.
As soon as he jumped,
I did that the
I
other
just
night.
started
I fell
winching
asleep
and
on
never
the
really
couch
got
and
his
she
head
was
back in
talking.
the
And I'm
water.
like, no, it's an alternate universe.
Oh dear.
Like, what the hell are you on about? I'm like,
I'm pretty happy with that. Squidgy's gone, but I don't care. That's a nice little Saratoga. Oh, aren't they great
Oh.
fish?
fixed.
Fantastic.
What was that?
He was right back in there and he shot
Spooky
straight up
ghost.
out of the water and I just started cranking as fast as I possibly could with that
That's okay.
4,000
He's
sustain
selling the
reel.
house. That, like,
I'm
gets
using
things
one of our
big, right?
6.5 foot Squidgy barra spin rods that
Squidgy?
Ian designed, and mate, you can pull on them pretty hard, can't you?
You sure can.
Listen, unroll
Oh, mate,
the
you can pull on it
EnviroNet
pretty
brag
hard any
mat
day.
there, and we'll just measure this one and show the folks how the brag mat works. It's a nice little feature from Dave Irvine, who makes the EnviroNets.
EnviroNet by
Fish
Dave
friendly,
Irvine. Is that
yeah.
somebody else they're
These
sponsored
mates.
by? This
These
is
are
just
great
full.
things, these
Hey, look at
brag mats.
this.
They go right up to
This is just full of
1.2
sponsored
metres.
content.
This fish is nowhere near that big.
You gotta
2
throw it back.
centimetres, as
Give
you
him a
can see
kiss.
here. This is the 50 centimetre mark, and it starts to get really specific after about 55, because that's the minimum legal length of the
Oh,
barra
come
in a
on,
lot of
put him back
places.
in the water
About
if you're not
1.2
going to keep
metres.
him and
It's a
kill
nice
him and eat
smooth
him,
surface to
whatever.
lie on. It's not going to do the fish any harm.
Yeah, and you can also write on them, Steve. You can actually
He's got a Shimano
write down
hat. He's
the length of a
totally
particular fish,
sponsored
if
by
it was a big one,
Shimano.
where you caught it, what the date
Shimano
was.
do a lot of
and
things.
it really does become a
interestingly
brag
enough.
mat.
They
Then
don't
some
just
guys
do
actually
fishing
hang them up
rods
on their
and
wall.
reels. They do
and they can see
bicycle
all the big
parts. I know
fish they've
that.
caught
I've
over the
been in
years.
bike shop.
That's the ones we're
They're doing another
Saratoga.
sponsored segment.
Back
Oh
into the water.
god, what now?
Spear
It's
him
a
in.
rollout measuring thing.
There are lots of exciting
It
new
looks like one
products
of
in the
those,
Squidgy
those
range this
rollout
year.
piano
Keep an
things.
eye out for them. But I just wanted to briefly show you 2 that I find particularly exciting. One of them is the Squidgy fish tail in 2 larger sizes than we currently make, the number 7 and number 8
Look at the
sizes.
size of that
Now these
squidgy.
are really going to appeal to things like big snapper, mulloway, big barramundi, cobia, all sorts of goodies.
I
And
understood
to go with
50%
them, and in
of
fact to
those
go with all the
fish
Squidgy
names.
tails,
I
we've
didn't.
come up with the
Can I
Squidgy
have those,
resin
Luigi?
head jig heads. These are fantastic. They've got a small lead insert set in a resin head, so it's actually quite a bit lighter than a full-on lead head, and has a much more
Lead head,
controlled and slower sink rate.
Oh,
Great
that's
for
a
fishing
pretty
around
cool-looking
snags
hook.
or where you
It's got
want
a
the
little
lure
fish head on
to
it.
hang in the water as it sinks a little bit slower than it does on the standard jig head.
They all
And it's
sound
built
made up,
on one of
I know,
these
right?
big, strong
Snapper is a
BMC
real art of
golden
bearing
jazz
hooks. You can really
wazzers.
pull hard on those when you hook that whopper. So if you're
Schminkle
thinking big
binkles.
fish, check these out. The Squidgy fish.
Oh, I
The
think that's
resin
because a
head
lot of
jig.
those fish names
oh,
are
that's not a
specifically
squidgy.
Australian fish. That's why.
This
Yeah.
is a squidgy.
And
Now,
someone-
that's not a squidgy. This is a squidgy.
We can't tell you about that. It's part of the blue water squidgy range that is going to take the world.
Look
by
at the
storm,
size
but
of
it's
that
still under development.
squidgy.
Keep an eye out
That's
for
just.
it, you idiot.
Why do you even need to catch a fish? You just use that. Just say I caught something.
spinner
Wife.
Yeah, it's on the spinnerbait.
It's okay. I didn't just get drunk on the boat.
Yeah.
I caught this. Don't touch it. It's not
Mine.
made of
Plus
plastic.
that deeper edge, eh?
No, just pretend to put it back.
Probing as well,
Oh, yeah.
actually.
Ah.
A couple of quick
Oh, nice one. I'll net him for you, mate.
that environment.
Nice toga. I'll grab the EnviroNet.
Okay, so the whole fishing aspect of this, I'm absolutely bored in. They're not explaining squidgies enough. My like Kingfisher that he called a Squidgy Secrets video. It's just them fishing. But I do like
Oh, lovely
the
fish.
overly Australian kind of banter.
There we go. Straight
The other
into the
thing that's
EnviroNet.
stupid about it.
These things are just so good for
Squidgy
fish, these
Secrets, and they
EnviroNets.
just showed their big
And they're
new
not
lure
hard to
and they're
use if
like,
you use them
"We're
properly.
not
Bring the
gonna
fish to
show
the
you
net rather
this,
than
it's a
chasing the
secret."
fish
That's
around with the
for
net.
part 3.
So,
Hey, fuck you, dude.
So on my research, part 1 and 2 are available on VHS, right?
Yeah, well, these big ones
3
like
and
this are
4
great for
got direct to DVD releases. So there is
and it's just
three-
so much
there is
kinder
part
to
3
the
and
fish.
4
They
to this
don't
video.
do any damage to their
I was
slime
gonna
coat
like
or their
if I
fins
haven't
or
got
anything
the
because of the mesh.
actual
Ooh,
exclusive interview with him, I was going to be like,
just fell out. Just run
Now
us
you're
through
gonna
the
do
design
part
principles
5.
behind the Squidgy spinnerbaits, Ian,
Go
because
to a
they're
Netflix
your
series.
design.
I reckon
What did
he
you
could
want to
get a
achieve
Netflix
with it?
series if he tried.
Well, I wanted
just,
to achieve
just
a
with
spinnerbait
the whole
that,
I was on
was a little bit
Rex
more
thing,
suited
Netflix
to
would probably
Australian
sign him for a
fish
limited-
Netflix
than
knows who the
all the
fuck
other
Rex
spinnerbaits
Hunt
that
is.
we've,
Doesn't matter.
used here, which
He
are
can
basically
just
being designed
show
for
that he
American
was
bass fishing
on
in
like
shallow
a big
water.
thing at one point in time, and they
Fish with large
give him a
mouths.
limited run of 6 episodes, right? Netflix do that. They
Isn't he a
give
beauty?
people
I'll pop him back in.
chances.
Spanning,
What I
spanning,
like
spanning, I
about
caught a
the
fish.
Squidgy spinnerbaits, apart from the fact that they've got squidgies on the tail, so they're swimming and working all the time,
I got
unlike the
video
shredded
proof, it's
skirts,
fine.
which are nice, but we've just come up with something a little bit different. You really spent a lot of time making
wish
sure
we
that
could
these
watch
things
that
were
episode.
helicopter on the drop, didn't you?
That's
Well,
right.
as part of
The
our
arm
fishing thing.
length
is
Fishy,
different to
fishy,
the other spinnerbaits.
fishy,
It's got a short top arm and a longer bottom arm.
Fish
I just think
go
this makes the
wherever
lure more
I
accessible to our fish, and it certainly allows them to helicopter perfectly every single time. As soon as you cast it and let it sink, it'll helicopter. If you pause and retrieve and let it sink, it'll
Top piece
helicopter each time
trunk.
too. Most spinnerbaits you probably get 4 out of 5 times you drop it, it won't spin. But these
how
do it
you
very
know
well. You
when
get hit an
birds-
awful lot on the drop with these lures.
Yeah.
And that's really good in this kind of country, isn't it? Because we can throw them right back in there over the top of the lily pads, pull them across the shallow stuff, and then when you hit a little pocket of deeper water, you can just let them helicopter down into it, and a lot of times you'll get a hit doing that.
Yeah, and you can wind them fast if you wanted to. They're
Sometimes my
extremely
grandfather,
stable, at all
he
speeds,
catches things
and they run quite
and
deep if
he
you want them to. You can
cooks them
actually
into
slowly
things,
retrieve down,
and then he always
the blade will
forgets
still
that I
work,
don't
but
eat
the lure
any
will
sort
start
of
to
fish.
dive.
So,
you
And
know,
he
when we're
wants to give
fishing
me
at
like
the
slices
average sort
of
bank
fish
that
or like
drops away,
whatever
you
he's
can actually
made, whether it's
slowly
fish
retrieve
stew or
down and reach the
something.
next break line, speed it up
And he
over the weeds that might be there.
every
then let
now
it
and then
dive down
he'll
again while
smoke it,
retrieving all the time.
and then
Of course, when
mince
you
it
think
into a
spinnerbaits in
paste
Australia, you
and
think
make a
Australian
mousse
bass, and that's where we're going
out
to
of
take
salmon.
you next, down to
And
Somerset
he always
Dam,
offers
a
me
couple of
salmon
thousand
mousse, and I'm
kilometres
like, I'm
from
not
here,
having
not
the
too
salmon
far from
mousse.
Brisbane.
I'll
And we're gonna
die.
join up with Bushy, and we're going to chase some big
was the
Australian
salmon
bass,
mousse.
Squidgy, so don't go
I
away.
didn't even have
Mate,
any
I
of the
reckon
salmon
nice
mousse.
little-
Yeah. Every now and then he offers me salmon mousse. I'm
Lake
like, no,
Somerset
multi-button
lies
has
on the
screwed up
upper
my brain.
Brisbane
I
River,
do
an
not
hour or
ever want
two's
to
drive
touch
from the
salmon
city,
mousse.
and it's typical of the dozens of man-made impoundments around the country that have been successfully stocked with a variety of wonderful Australian native fish.
Australian native fish
The
stock.
big prizes
Hey!
in Somerset include golden
Like a
perch
20-year-old
and Mary River cod,
GPS
but the
system
species that's
thingy
drawn
that,
Bushy and me here, along with
Oh,
our good
Bushy's
mate
here?
Craig Simmons, is the
Oh, I
mighty
remember that the
Australian
best
bass.
thing I enjoyed
Trouble
about
is, we
going
haven't exactly picked
fishing with
ideal
my grandfather
conditions.
was playing with
We've
a
come on the
depth
tail of
sounder.
drought-breaking
Because what it would
rains
do
and
is it'd be
unseasonably
radar
cool weather,
for
and it's
under the
still
water,
raining.
But
Catching
everything
bass
that was
today
moving, it
isn't
would
going to
detect
be
as a
easy.
fish. And instead of just putting little bips up like
Oh,
in
yes.
movies, like it would actually have a little fish. Like, oh, there's a fish down there! Quick, catch it!
Put a bend in the
I just
squidgy,
wanted to
right?
play the computer game.
You bet, and it's put a smile on my dial.
That's the
Yeah,
debate.
nice looking fish.
That's the chicken episode, not
Well,
the
there you
fish
go.
episode.
We could see them on the
I already
sounder, and it was
referenced
just a
it too.
matter
I
of
did the whole
working on the
Stanley,
fish.
Stanley,
It's
Stanley, I caught
not
fish.
the best of weather today, and we've had
Look, just because
hundreds
I
of
get the
millimetres of
references
rain
now
in the
doesn't
last
mean I
few
enjoy
days.
it anymore.
A lot of water's run into this system. It's probably
I
lowered the
enjoyed the
temperature
show.
a bit. It's certainly dirtied it up.
Still don't
And
really.
it's shut the fish down a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you can find
Great
them and
show
work
and
on them with the
references
squidgies,
are
you can
funny.
still catch them. And that's a pretty good start.
Also, 8 out of 100 on
mate.
the
Off you
sub
go.
goal thingy for Drunk 101.
8.
Yeah, 8 out of 100.
Sounds like fun. We'll get there by the end of the
We're
year.
working water between
Well,
about
it's kind of
7
planned.
and
It
10
wasn't meant
metres
to be like
deep,
it
concentrating
happens
on areas
tomorrow
where the
thing. I
depth
thought we'd make it
sounder
happen
and
tomorrow
the
night.
presence of
Yo,
all these
Bodega,
cormorants or
how you doing?
shags
know
indicates
who Bodega
concentrations
is.
of life. We've even pinpointed some of the better spots with
I
marker
believe
buoys
they
attached to
were
weights.
someone I was talking to earlier.
Trouble is, the sounder
Oh.
shows most of the bass sulking right on the bottom where they can be very hard to tempt.
who I
We've got
also
about
followed.
27 feet or 8 metres of water here, and we're marking a
As they
few
mentioned,
fish and
without
quite a
saying
bit of
what it
bait,
was,
which
they
is
had a
probably
unique
bony
idea for
brim.
their
There's a lot of
stream.
bony brim, which are a little bait fish here in Somerset.
see it.
Now, the fish don't look particularly active, the
Said I
bass. We're
wanna
just
see
seeing the
it.
odd line through the middle of the bait fish
I wasn't
schools.
listening.
What I'm going to do, I've rigged
I was
up
learning
one of our
about-
number 3 squidgy fish
Oh, he
in the
said
Gary
squidgy
glitter
again.
colour
Quick.
on one of our lead head jigs. That's about a 5 or 6 gram head. And I'm going to drop it in there and get it right down to the
Squidgy.
bottom. Just make a short cast. We're drifting with the wind, so I'll just make a short cast. We're drifting that way, so I'll throw them back that way.
You know what I
I'll
love?
let it get all the
Yeah.
way to the bottom, and I'll be
I
able to
thought
tell
so.
when it reaches
You
the
do
bottom
what you
because
do.
the
You know what I
line
love?
will go slack.
You know what I
It's a little bit
love?
hard to tell
That
when
was
you're drifting
funny.
away from it
You
like this, so
love,
every now and again you can just put your finger on it
bacon.
and just let the line
I
come
do.
tight. I can feel that that's
I
still
love
sinking.
the fact that this
Love
is
it.
like
Go a
one
bit
of our
more.
most boring
It's
episodes.
on the bottom
like,
now.
ever.
Close the bail
And
arm.
we've got a good.
Wait for it to
we've got a
come
good
tight, and then I'm
viewpoint.
just going to
Got
slowly
a good
wind. I'm not going to do
viewbase,
anything all that
just coming out
exciting
and
with
chat
the
with
Good.
us
tip,
while
just
we're
hold
being
it flat
bored.
and just
Talk
slow
shit about
roll
the videos, guys. Just
Yeah.
until I've lifted it a couple of metres clear
Have a
of the
go at
bottom.
his Australian accent.
Stop.
Or,
Open the
you know,
bail arm
don't
again
even,
and let it go
like,
back down. And what I like to do
watch it
sometimes
and
is
just
just
talk
let
shit
that
about
line
us. Either way.
run through my fingers as it goes back down, because
at his
sometimes
banana line.
the fish will hit it on the
What
way
about
back.
it? I don't get
And
it.
You might see that in the line, but
Like,
on
he's
a
gotta
breezy
keep
day
it
like
taut
this, you
so
might
that he
also
can-
feel it with your fingers, just like a little bite,
The last
and then you can
video,
close the bail arm
what was
and
last week?
strike. It's a
Cartoon
pretty
cartoons. We did
deadly
cartoons
technique
last
for
week.
bass.
No, that was you.
Particularly
no, wait,
when
I
you
did.
shut
No,
down
we,
the
both-
we,
power at the moment.
we did both episodes. We did a double cartoon thing.
It was Cartoon Week.
I'm
this channel.
so nerd. I want you to to totally do a spin-off show. I want to watch you watch cartoons every freaking week.
It's just too much.
I want.
I have an infant
that's the
son
thing.
to take care of.
I know, but like, I like the idea of tuning
After
into
all those
watching
little
the
plucks I was
same
getting, suddenly a fish has
shows,
just
like every
climbed on
week,
there.
but like the next
that's a good
episode.
fish.
Like that seems like fun to me.
It would be fun if I
Going
had
through.
time.
Yeah, we
I was a million
so
miles away, then I
on
was starting to daydream a little
Pete's
bit.
cinema
I
thing,
just
he
went
did
into
Mario,
slow
he
roll
did the
with
Zelda
that,
cartoon, he did Where's
that
Wowie,
jig.
what
Mega
else?
Man.
The
Just
Mega Man,
nailed it.
I
I'm
missed
only
out on the
using
Mega Man. I wasn't
4
there for
pound
that.
braid here,
robot.
Pocus braid.
And then on our
Donkey Kong.
VHS show, we did a bunch of like rainy day, teach your kids interesting things while they
Perfect
think they're
for a
watching
pandemic.
cartoons, sort of thing. Cartoons that are thinly veiled, just educational videos.
Yeah.
What a beauty. That is a lovely fish. It just goes to show, even on a tough day like this,
But
and this
soon
this
enough, we'll
lake
have to
has
do
risen
like
about
kind of the
a metre and a
opposite
half
because
in the
we
last
have
24
some
to 48
actual
hours. There's been a heck of a lot of rain, and we're still getting some
We
this
have a
morning.
Mario one.
Conditions
I know we
are
have a
not
Mario
good.
one,
It's
I
really
remember.
muddied up in here, and I don't think the fish like
Rock
it.
and
They're
wrestling.
pretty shut
Yeah,
down.
we've got the
But
shark.
that's what often happens, and you
Street
can't
sharks.
always
Street
pick the
sharks,
conditions
yeah.
you have to fish in, especially in, say, a tournament or something.
Black and white.
And if you're willing to just work away there and
I'll
get the
grab
lure
one before
down
we
into
do
them
it.
and just keep working it through them, they
The
just
thing
can't
is,
resist
remember,
something.
these
like
tapes
that.
won't be singular episodes.
Number 3, Squidgy Fish and the Gary Glitter on one of our unpainted ball head jigs, and it just pinned him right
In other
there
words,
in front of the top lid.
There's probably going to be like at
Pretty
least
happy about
90
that.
minutes
I
per
put him in
tape.
the live bait well.
Cool.
See if we can get a couple more.
So many of those
Beautiful
tapes
big
were like,
live
we'll
wells
sell
here.
them for $1 million because kids will want to buy them.
And they
They've
put a
got
few
in there just to
episodes.
see
three
if we're fishing a
episodes on
tournament.
Which 3, it's about an hour.
Oh. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Because
Yeah, we'll do
episodes
many.
are about 22 to 24 minutes generally.
We should have brought Street Sharks for the fishing videos.
Yeah, we'll get back to cartoons.
Of course, fishing is incredible.
So every Wednesday is videotape time, which is what we're doing now. And then Saturdays, I do cinema where I just watch other stuff.
that's
yeah, you
good.
download and find things that you might be allowed to watch on the stream, whereas
What a good feeling.
we
We
skew tape
marking
time,
those
we
fish
actually
on,
have
on
the
the sounder and
physical.
they just look
Yeah, everything you
set
see
tapes.
A bit
on this
higher in
show
the
is
water.
physical media.
I'll
So
make a slightly faster
we're
slow
an actual,
roll,
we're
a
watching it
medium
through
roll,
an
if you
actual
like.
VCR
And straight away,
on an actual CRT.
Yeah.
Nailed that soft plastic.
This is
Oh,
going to be fun to talk about.
not a
It
big
just
fish.
looks more boring than this
But,
one.
it is.
pretty happy to see that.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I mean, you want to go across there and
Spectacular
get
fish,
yourself
whether
some
you
chips,
catch them in
can.
rivers or whether you catch them in dams. Australian
Anything
bass
to
are
make
just one
it
of our
work
great
for you.
sport fish,
I'm here.
and they were just
No, we
made
could
for the
just
squidgy.
not have
On
to
light
watch
gear
fishing
like
tapes.
this,
All
they're
right.
absolute
You want
gold.
to
I'm
rest
just
up
using
on
a
the stream,
4-pound
sure.
braided line on one of our
I
7-foot
hate
squidgy
fishing
spin
so
rods, which is
much,
really
dude.
brim weight gear.
Yeah.
And a very
thought
light
this was
leader. I'm
gonna be
using
an
about
easier week
a
to
metre and a
deal
half
with
to
some
2
bad
metres of just
stuff.
3
Unfortunately, I got fucking sick and now I
monofilament
can't
line,
drink.
just to keep everything really fine so that it sinks down
I'll try to
nicely
pick
through the
something more
water.
interesting next week.
And has
I
the
have a
ultimate
feeling that next
intersection and
week
finesse, and
I
that's
wanna
what
do
it's all
something
about on tough
sciencey.
days like this.
Okay,
Getting
science
in the
is
live
good.
bait well.
So I want to do the video that's on the end of the
Oh, well
the-
done,
the-
Bushy.
you know what I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about. Yeah, I want to
It's
do
in
that.
the
I kind of
intro.
want to do the half
Straight
hour
away, as soon as
news
you got
article
yours in.
about the Melbourne Museum being
been
built
cream.
upon, and maybe
Same thing, I
something
just let
else,
it
like
hit
a
the bottom,
nutrition video or something.
Started the slow
Okay.
wind. You'd imagine that little
Either
tail
that,
just
or if you want to
kicking on the
request
way up and
something
you
like
slam
that.
Yeah, if anyone has any theme requests for
Slam.
I've
next
got
week.
some learn music
done, mate.
tapes. I've got all sorts of things.
The more vague,
there
the
was something I
easier
was
it is
gonna
to
be
make it
walking
work
home.
when it comes to themes.
Yeah. But don't ask Chris, because he might recommend that we do a 4x4 video next week, and I can't do fishing and
I'm
4x4
just
at
on
the
a
same
big
No.
4-pound
we
fire
need
line.
a little bit of a break.
We need,
Slightly heavier
yeah.
trace
Because he
than you
gave me a 4x4 video, and I looked at it and I went,
Maybe
oh.
why you've been kicking
There's
my
a
butt.
problem we're going to run into if we keep doing interesting episodes every couple of weeks,
See if
though.
I can knock it off for you.
Yeah, thanks.
And
Gonna run out of
probably like
interesting
70% of the tapes are shit.
It'd take a while to knock
I
my
love it.
fish off the line.
Look at this
Oh,
guy,
I
though.
noticed you went to the Gary Glitter fish a bit like I'm using.
The
there.
last
that's a
video
very
that you
strange
gave
thing.
me, Chris, was a
I mean, we do have
4x4
a number
video.
of different colours, and we certainly use all of those colours on various occasions. But if your mate catches 3 on one colour, it's a really good idea to go to your squidgy
Doctor
box and get one of those
Who.
out, because they do seem to
Doctor
show a preference on
Doctor
certain days, don't
Who.
they?
Yeah, and isn't it interesting how
Ah,
similar
that's
that
Doctor
Gary Glitter colour is to the
Who.
bass colour? And
Doctor
they are a
Who.
cannibalistic
Doctor-
fish, like most predators. They'll eat little bass.
He
They're in
did
there
say
eating
Gary
bony
Glitter
brim
fish.
as well. But
Doctor
we've often
And it was
found
either
that,
going to get a
haven't we?
yikes
So
or I was just
the
going to do
lure
the
to the
thing from that rock and
watercolour
roll
and to the
song.
fish
fish and to the forage, you're going to do a lot better.
Yeah, there's just something about that, and certainly today that particular colour
See, there's gonna be
really
a-
has
that's a
done something
yikes.
for us.
That's
And
a
it is a
big
pretty
yikes.
tough
So this
day.
is,
There's certainly been people here
when
fishing
was
with
this
other
made?
equipment
This
and
was
other
back
lures,
before the
and I'll
turn
tell you
of
what, the only
millennium,
thing
I
that's
think.
caught a fish today that
So
we've seen
Gary
no,
Glitter
this-
wasn't.
Looks fairly. Like the quality on this
You're
looks
old.
decent enough to be
Yes.
2000s.
You're so old that you think that things are made later than they are. It's a problem
No,
that I
I
have
think
as well.
I think
These
we
things
we
can
generally
fight.
get on point. Like it could be late 90s. I don't. This
Real
is
hard
not
and
mid 90s.
Start appealing lines.
Look at
straight
like
away.
consider what it is though. Like we're watching
Oh, it's a big
Aussie
one.
guys who aren't Rex Hunt fishing.
Look
Limit
at
your
that
kill,
for a
don't kill
bass.
your limit. Well, the thing is, because this guy used to be on
Like
Rex
that on
Hunt
that same straight
during
line.
the 90s, he was trying to
Using the
ride that
same,
fame through
slow
to do
roll,
his
but
own
probably
series
sped it up
here.
just a fraction,
So
and
you're
part of
right.
that
It's
is my
probably
own
somewhere
excitement
closer to
of
the
being
early
able to see the fish on
2000s,
the
just
sounder.
because he was
They just
trying
looked
to
to me
keep
like they were
and
gonna
stay
bite and come
relevant.
up a little bit
He has his
higher
own
in water,
YouTube channel, by the
and that's
way.
always a
It
good
hasn't
sign
been
if they're
updated
moving
since
around.
2013, but he has
Been
it.
tagged, which is really interesting. They've got tagging
The thing that he
programs up
does
here in these
quite
Queensland
often
dams.
update is
It'll be
he
interesting. We'll get the
Instagram. He
number
actually
of it later
Instagrams
and
him and
find
his
out when
family
this
going
fish was
fishing and
released
stuff.
and
He's
how big
proud
it
of
was
that,
when it
which
was
is
released.
cool.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
you come out here on a pretty
read
shut
it.
down day, and you can get a couple of
Thing.
bass, big solid ones like that. I'll tell
You're
you
probably
what,
right.
you
It's
know
probably
it's
early
easy to
2000s.
use a bad lure,
I have a problem where I
No,
kind of
yours-
think that the early 2000s
fish, though,
isn't
aren't they?
long
Great
long
fish.
enough
I'd like
ago
that pair
for it to be
during
old.
a session in one of
but
the
it is.
ABT
Competition.
bass
I
tournaments.
find
And
mid
the thing is, you just
2000s. Like I
persevere
feel
too.
like there's
I
a
mean, it
point
took me a
in
while
like
to get my hook
2004
up,
maybe.
but you had to
2003,
persevere a little bit. We had to just keep
where
working away with those squidgies,
everything
keep
just
having a
felt
bit of
like it
faith,
changed in
and
terms
just
of
keep
like.
working it through the
I think
fish.
DVD really
That's
just
not a bad little session.
you know put
I
that
am one
final
happy
nail
camper,
in
and
the
there are
coffin.
dams all
The
over
funny thing
Australia
is,
where you can
when
come
I
out
go
and do this with
hunting
your
for
squidgies,
VHS
and of course
for
you
this
can do
show,
it in rivers too. They
Hot
don't just
Shots
work in
and
the
stuff.
still waters on the
Sometimes
bass.
I go through
They
the
are a
DVDs,
fantastic
and
lure
some
for
of them
catching
are
bass.
locally made, and I
Vary
kinda
the
think this
presentation and the
stuff is-
lures you
Have a
use
double
to
player.
suit the conditions. If the fish are shut
Should I
down,
start picking that
slow
crap up
down
as
the
well?
If it looks
action, use a bit of
hilariously
finesse, go to
interesting
final
or,
line,
like,
final
worth-
leader. When
or
they get
obscure,
active,
then
they
yeah,
Terrible.
get
Like
kind
a
of
lot of
active,
those
but you can
DVDs
catch 'em
that came
any day of
with
the year.
magazines and stuff. Like this, I would assume would come with a magazine. This seems like a magazine video to me, and so do all the 4x4 videos that we have.
With
They seem
more
like
squall
magazine
lines,
videos.
a black cloud approaching,
When
and
I was
gradually
young, I bought a
blotting out our
magazine
window of
video.
blue sky. We figured
Yeah,
it was
to
time to
jerk
quit
off to
while
it.
we were ahead,
It was the
release
Pamela
our
Anderson,
keepers,
Tommy Lee
and get
sex
the
tape,
heck
yeah.
off the water before the heavens opened
I
up
wouldn't
once
jerk off to
again.
that.
Well, it's going
no,
to give me
that was
great
gross,
pleasure to put
but I
these
bought
two
it.
big
'Cause
mama
it was
bass
funny.
back into Lake Somerset, and you can let your two little ones go too, Bushy.
Yeah.
It'll give me a
Don't
lot
let
of
the Gary
pleasure to let
get glitter
these little
fish next to
tiny
the
Somerset bats
guppies.
go as well.
Oh, mate, they're not bad fish anyway. Slip them back in.
Why even keep them? Like
Bye,
why even put them
boys.
in that tank thing you've got in there in
Yeah,
the first
put my
place?
46 centimetre fork length
Because
one
they're
back. That's a nice
advertising it.
fish.
It's another one of those
Goes.
things that they can
And
buy.
this big one with the tag in it, and I've taken the tag number, and I'm going to find out when it was released, who caught it, and how big it was when it was let go. It's
They did the
48.5
boys.
to the fork now.
These guys are wild.
Really, really nice fish. 50 centimetres total length.
I love that we're
These
30
guys are
Make sure she's all
wild.
right.
I love that we're
Beautiful big
half an hour
squidgy
into
caught
the
bass.
1
And I'll
hour.
tell you
See,
what,
he's
I
here,
don't know how to caught
Squidgy.
too many fish today on anything other than a squidgy.
Is that better, Chris?
Ah, Squidgy!
Fishing, but when you end up with a couple like this, it's all worthwhile. She's ready to go.
So, this video is meant to be Starlo and Bushy. But Bushy has only kind of really just come in the last like 5 minutes or something.
Mostly concentrated on southern species that require a fair bit of delicacy and finesse.
I mean,
well, now for something entirely different.
this guy,
I'm anchored in
he's
the mouth of the
self-obsessed.
Jackson
He
River
thinks
on
he's
the
more
western
important
side
than
of
the
Cape
other
York Peninsula.
the
And we're
person
about
in
He
the
is.
duo.
squidgy gear
Screw
and
the
head
other person.
offshore to do some jigging on the tropical reefs.
Gotta do some
Spanish
jigging.
flag, one of the Luke Janid clan. Pretty much constant action when you're bouncing squidgies along the bottom.
Is he doing
in
a
reefy
cutaway?
water. Ah, it's a little coral trout. And also,
He's doing the best of!
fast-moving pelagic fish. And straight away.
Every single clip is from a different holiday that he can now
This should
tax.
be fun.
Oh yeah.
North,
That's why we had to get our live show
far
going.
North Queensland.
We need to get our
I'm
live
on
show
the western
going so
side
that
of
we
Cape
can
York Peninsula, fishing with
go on
my
holiday
favourite
in
tropical
21
mothership
times.
operation.
What live show?
Greg and
Oh,
Jimmy Bethune's
this?
Yeah.
Carpentaria
Yeah, we
Seafarers.
can just claim if we
Happy
registered this as a business, we could start doing stuff
with my
right
good
now.
mate Michael
We don't
Hewlin.
need to actually go out and do a live
We'll kick off
show.
by anchoring up
But
with
yeah,
a little burley
absolutely.
and bouncing some squidgies on the bottom. But as always, I'll take a moment to
Squidgies.
measure the tail I've chosen alongside the jig head and make sure I feed it on nice and straight,
You're a
with the hook
G-head.
point emerging on the midline of the plastic's back.
Well, we've come about 1 kilometre offshore and anchored up in 7 or 8 metres of water over some broken reef and sand. These little patches often hold a mixture of both reef fish and pelagic species. Now, I've put a little bit of birdie in. That's not always necessary, but it doesn't hurt when you're in a new area just to throw a little bit of chopped up birdie in. Fish down there to the bottom. Got him on 9
I
gram
hate
head
fishing.
jig because there's
Like,
not a
it's
lot of run
just-
here today. I'll just throw it over the side.
Not to mention, I'm sick, okay?
What I'm going to do is work the water all around
If
the boat.
anything
I'll
can
start
help,
with the stuff
I'm
right
here.
underneath. Okay,
You
that's
want
on
a
the
kilo
bottom
of
now.
pork to
And
shove
I'll
in your
just
face to make
bounce
you
it
feel
up and
better?
down a
You
couple
go
of
ahead.
I
times.
don't think a
Lifting
kilo of pork is
Oh,
going to
half
make
a
me
metre
feel
to a
any
metre off the
better.
bottom and then letting it swim back down again.
Alright.
Once I've bounced it
Don't
a few
pack on
times, I'll just
biscuits.
retrieve it up through mid-water.
It's very
In the
frustrating.
next
of course,
presentation,
that,
I'll
like,
make it in a slightly different
today
area, make a short cast out there.
is when we're doing fishing.
Again, let it
and
get
it's
all the
the
way to
day
the
that I'm
bottom.
not well,
Doesn't
so I
take very
can't
long
be
in this
drunk.
shallow water.
It's the same day that
It's
my
on the
fucking
bottom now.
aircon.
I kind of
Yes.
thought about changing the episode
Screws
last
bounce
minute,
along
but
the
I
seabed,
also
just
couldn't
lifting
be
and
bothered.
falling
Oh, fair
a
enough.
metre or a metre or so.
We'll
I can
get
fish
there.
the seabed
We'll get
all the
there.
way back until I'm nearly under the boat. And then what I like to do is
So yeah,
retrieve
I've
it
pissed you
fairly
off with
rapidly
fishing,
up
so
through
quite happily tell
the
me,
water range. That's when you might
tell me
pick
what
up
I'm going to
a
play
large
next week,
trevally
and
or a
I'll
mackerel or
deal with it.
whatever. So you're really covering the water
Something that's
very
not
effectively.
fishing.
I don't know, should we, no, it was too close to the other one. I was going to say, like, ferals and liftoff, but it's too close to the other morning stuff.
Well,
Puppets.
it's a start. One of the little cod species, and you'll often find when you get to a reef and
I
you
think
start
science
burling
might be fun.
and drop a few
science
jigs
does
over, you'll
sound
get the little stuff
interesting.
first. But even
Not
the
necessarily
activity that
fun
they generate, the
because of what you said
vibrations
we
and
might
everything as you're
cover
pulling the
it,
small
but-
fish up through the water can bring bigger stuff in, so don't give up just because you catch a few small fish to begin with.
Kiss it first! God, didn't Rex teach you anything?
Still not a big fish, but
Kiss it. Well, you don't
It's a
want to
little
watch
bit
about, like, Melbourne's museum being opened up?
Well, it's more just like that's not necessarily the most
This is not a
exciting
bad
thing in
fish.
the world.
I
Like,
think it's pretty exciting.
science, exciting science is like
I didn't
chemicals.
say exciting science. I just said we're not going to fucking watch Bill Nye.
I
It's
took my little
copyrighted.
piece of wire off. I
That-
actually
my
got
point is
snagged
that
and lost
it's
one.
not going to be a bad episode like
It's a
this.
shark.
Ultimately,
And I probably won't be sick by then.
Every single episode that we do is going to be terrible crap
the real
I find on VHS. There's nothing
But
good.
most of it,
Anything
like, we
good
can- we
has
can,
been
like-
like copyrighted to the
Whaler
shite house. We
species that are
can't do much.
quite prolific up
We
there.
like
Need to be a little bit
generally
careful
it's stuff
with
we
these
can
guys.
work
I've got a
with,
mouthful of
but
pretty sharp
we're
teeth,
40 minutes into this tape now, and
as you can see in there.
what else are we going to say at this point?
I think if you're in a better mood, you'd be enjoying his stupid Australian accent more. That's all I'm going to say.
Maybe.
This next one's going to be shit. But
Usually when you're reef
Squidgy's,
fishing
I
and
kind of enjoy his
Sharks
dumb
move in any
accent.
sort of numbers.
I hate the
It's a pretty
show,
good time
I hate
to
the
move
Squidgy's, I
somewhere
hate
else.
everything,
No.
but I enjoy his dumb accent.
He does remind me of the sort of people who used to come into work
Yeah.
when I worked at the server. And
Absolutely,
that
but we get
annoys
to
me
make
even
fun
more.
of it. So it annoys you, but like it is funny to me.
I just those
It's,
sorts
it's,
of
it's
people
even
used
more
to-
funny to the guys from Americas who's like, is this what you guys really sound like? Like, yes. Yeah, when we
Yeah,
go,
100%.
the
yes.
funny thing is, we sound more like that when we get on the boat and go fishing.
Apparently.
It just makes it worse.
Yo, personal trainer, what's up? Where's the shots of alcohol Mario games? I'm like a dad now, and I don't have time to play like Mario Party, and I can't afford booze.
Now we're just cruising.
I'm also sick right now.
Oh,
I mean, if you want to go across the road and get a bottle of vodka,
I'm sick.
the offer is
this
there.
fantastic. We're
And I
up
think the
here
cheapest
in about
bottle of vodka over there is
a
going to be
metre of
like
water on the sand
30
flats,
something
and there's a lot
bucks,
of bait fish.
and it's rocket
And
fuel.
I've put a little silver fox
Pack my
squidgy
bags,
fish on and thrown
Free
it out
flight.
there,
Who
and
the
straight
fuck
away a
knew?
big queenie's jumped all over
and
it.
I'm gonna be.
Sweltering here.
As a
for the
kite
morning
by
sun.
then.
Oh, we've got queenfish just swimming around the boat here.
Oh,
he's taking some line.
You think he sounds like Jimmy Carr?
Just that
10
one
pound
laugh he
gillspun
did.
here. And I've got it on one of our.
Oh, look at that red chest.
one
He
of
looks
our
like
Squidgy
a-
barra spin rod.
Hey, said
2
Squidgy.
1/2 foot 2-piece rod.
just fantastic.
Who was that actor who was in
Call them
Liftoff and
Squidgy Barrett,
Round
but
the
of course
Twist
you
and
can catch a
stuff?
whole lot
They
more
did
than
that
I
one
don't know
ad.
his names.
And I've got a 4,000
Okay,
size
yeah, don't know.
Shino reel on here. It's a wonderful outfit.
I did do
nice
a
and
William
light, you
Shatner
can
cover
cast
of
with it all
something of
day,
an Elton John song.
and yet
It's fine.
it has the authority to knock over
So
some
he
pretty
did this
big
ad
fish.
back
Made a
when we were
couple of
young.
great
I kind of
jumps,
want to find it.
and
I'll
there
probably
he is.
be able to find it. Where he's sitting out in the sun. He's like, I don't need sunscreen. And he turns into an actual lobster.
A metre and a half.
Do you remember that ad?
I don't. That sounds hilarious.
Well, no, I'll have to find it. So I've been working with Tapekeeper at the moment. I've been sending him rips of some of our
Fast runners.
less
But I
interesting
love them because they don't tie you up
videos
for
that
hours
just
like
have
a big
ads and stuff. And
GT
he's
or
going to go
giant
through
trevally.
and sort
You
them
can
all
knock
out and
these
do that
over
thing
even
that
on
he
this
does where
gear
he
in
puts every ad into a
5 to
different
15 minutes.
video.
Well, I should send him my 80s ads then.
Yeah, do it. Also, he has agreed to, if we want to in the future when we've all settled down, be a Zoom-in special guest, and we'll
That
do
would
an
be fun.
ad episode.
I'd love an ad episode.
Yeah.
I think the ad episode would be one of the best episodes.
And
we
he'll,
could possibly do.
yeah. So basically, my idea for that would be, we
Ah.
would go Latan. That's it. It's the Latan ad. So we go through. We try and get like maybe half an hour
What a
worth of
great way
our
to
ads
start
that we
the
want
day.
to show him, and he would do the similar thing
Throwing
to
a
the
squidgy,
American
little
ads,
school
and
of those. Look at
we'd
that,
zoom in
tail
and
completely undamaged.
do a show. I think that would be fun.
So just
I
goes
agree.
to
I think
show
that'd be a great episode.
Squidgies are not only about
I'm 100% for that.
Yeah.
And I easily have already
Take
got
fairly slow
over half an
presentations.
hour's worth.
Good, and especially
Pelagic will
considering
also
I really
Did
want.
Chris find the ad?
What I like
He
about
found the ad.
Squidgy
It's
is the
right
fact that you don't have to retrieve it
Can we put it in a
as
little?
quickly as some of the hard-bodied
No,
lures
that's
to get a
alright.
strike.
Never mind.
I can't really be bothered.
Everyone else can watch it.
I'm
Oh,
just,
look how
you
easy
know,
that came out with the
Pete's
stick.
not with
That
it
tail
today.
was a
I'm
couple
sick
of
And
and
this
I'm
is his
tired and
like setup.
Righto.
And honestly, if
My
any of you were
whole-
sitting here, you'd also be as weirded out by everything as I can. So let me just explain what you can see my face. I come here to do the episodes. When I record at home, it's just my computer and a TV. It's fine. But there is a computer screen over there to my left. Then under that, it's an
Speaking of
Xbox.
baitfish,
Under
there are a
that
couple
is
more
a
acres of them
CRT
spread
little
out down the
computer
back of the
screen.
beach.
Then
And
to
they're
the right of it
starting to
is the
attract a
actual
deal of
computer.
attention, with
In
all
front of
sorts
me is a
predators
giant
moving in to take
non-CRT
advantage of
TV
the
screen.
seafood
There's a
banquet.
laptop sitting here with a microphone next to it. Then aside from that, there is another CRT TV and a DVD VCR combo that's playing. And I don't know what any of it does. I feel like if I touch any of
You
it,
missed out on the
everything's...
fact that there's another computer down there.
Is it plugged in? Is it doing stuff?
I think it might be rendering something.
Oh no, I don't know what's going
Oh, it's
on.
probably done. I don't know.
You can't. You've been here. It's a mess in here. There's a PlayStation right there as well. I see a Wii remote, but no Wii. I mean,
Just the
there's a
Wii U
Switch
is
somewhere.
somewhere.
I
Yeah,
see
the
the
Switch
Switch
is
under
down
there
there.
behind the thing. There's like underneath your actual
tell you
TV.
what,
There's
the
like
cloud
5
cover's come
different
over.
Switch
It was bright
boxes.
sunlight half an
Yeah.
hour ago.
And I say Switch box
A
like
little bit of
not
broken
even
cloud has rolled in and it's dropped
Nintendo.
the
Just like
temperature about 3 or 4
I don't even know what any of this does.
Made it a lot more pleasant
It
day.
sounds
I actually
very
stopped
complicated,
sweating for the first time
and
this
I'm
morning.
right here looking at it. And I still
This
don't
fish
get
is
it.
going to have me
It
sweating
is
again.
complicated, indeed.
Can we just throw it all out and see?
So erratic, sudden
There's a
direction
difference
changes.
between clean and too much
It's
stuff.
Not a jumper. Well, not
Sometimes
yet.
you can have too much stuff and still be clean. Your house, actually, Chris, very cluttered and full of shite, but clean.
It's amazing how much stick
You'd
you
be
can put
surprised.
on it with
This
these,
room is getting clean.
6.5 foot.
I'm actually, as I said, I'm
Doesn't
like,
matter, you're moving.
that's,
and just
Put it all in a box, chuck it out.
the boxes are ordered. Like there is the reasons why.
Everybody use that rod if they go into the boat. Just bury the rod in the water.
Bury the rod in the water.
I don't want to bury the rod.
I'd like to bury my rod in your water,
Right in
Squidgy
the
man.
point of the top jaw, he's hooked.
These squidgies are great. It's a secret.
It's shh, it's a secret.
Buy this tape.
Right there
free
in the
real
point of the
estate.
jaw. That's going to come out.
Let me go
Very
back to that
easily.
post I was just reading.
You
I
go
was trying
on.
to find out when this was made.
Oh,
Couple of seconds. This is going to be a nice healthy fish. Healthy, all right. Off he goes.
MJC85 said on the 2nd of November 2004 at
You're going.
12:27 p.m. Squidgy Secrets, Part 1 and 2, Fishing with
There's a
Soft
big
P.
strip of these bait fish
Has
rolling
anyone
right
seen this
along the back of
video?
the beach
I
here.
did.
They've all
Is
been
it worth buying?
traded in. They're being
I have
pushed out
tried
of
like
the
5
boat
times
tide,
fishing with
and it's just a
SPs in
wall of
different
teeth and
places.
fins on the outside
Different
of these
methods.
predators work the
Different
outside edge of the
SPs.
school.
But I have
This is
never
something
caught
that,
anything.
Well, I reckon any red-blooded fisherman
I'm sure I'm
would be,
using the
makes
correct
blood pump
method.
to see this kind of
I
thing
cast
happen.
out as far as I can and let the SP sink and then give it a jerk. Wind up the slack
Is it a mackerel?
and let it sink again and continue this.
Is it deliberate that everything
Just got the
fishing
bail arm
sounds
closed,
sexual?
and this
I
little
know,
mackerel
right? It's
nailed
bizarre.
the squidgy.
I would really like to learn how to successfully catch fish with them. So would this video help me? Cheers, Mitch.
I hope he doesn't break his back when he goes fishing on the mountain.
I was pretty lucky. I haven't got wire on.
I was actually just going to say on that topic, it's like, I mean, it is a thing where it's a blokey thing to do where they all get on a boat and they go to where no one can really see them.
And then they take off their shirts and they put their hands all over the squishy, slimy fishies.
It's a big queenie. Okay, this is sight casting with a squidgy.
MJC85, I was told the same thing as you, method. I have not heard of that video, but if there is one, I would be interested in getting a copy. Maybe we should ask our local fishing shop.
I mean,
G'day all, I have the 2 DVDs, Squidgy Secrets. I bought them at for about and hash 3620.
on eBay you can get part 1 and 2 as VHSs for pretty cheap, and also then you can get part 3 and 4 as DVDs. So if you want to do the whole series.
Nope. And that included a plastic tackle box with squidgies and jig heads.
I thought we could skip some
Salo
of the
and
shit.
Bushy know their stuff.
I thought we
Worthwhile buying. Regards, Steve.
I thought we
So
could skip some of the
people
shit by
are learning
skipping
from
number
this.
1 and just going straight to number 2, but it's just him fishing, man. Like, how much could it be edited? Seriously, if he didn't have a... obviously, this is a video, and the video company said, we need you to make a 90-minute or 60-minute whatever video to be able to sell. If he had cut out him just hanging out and fishing, how long would the YouTube video be of him telling us about the Squidgy Secrets?
Well, there would be one video.
It'd be like 10 minutes, right?
And if you took all the informational stuff from all 4 parts, instead of filling it with filler, it would probably be an hour.
But it's about
their bellies no
making
doubt
that
full,
moolah.
but they're still cruising the edges
That was
of
a
the
big
bait
fish.
school
What
with
was that?
malicious intent,
Was
while
that a-
smaller predators dash in for their
It looked
cut.
like a tuna.
This is
Look
flat
at the
sight
screws.
fishing at its
I like
champagne
that, though.
best, and often you can literally pick your
Yes,
target
this is
before
clearly
even
just a
making a
fishing
cast.
forum.
Just check this out.
Just check this out.
Oh look, you can get all 4 parts in one pack.
As a DVD set? Yeah,
Yes.
4-part
Oh,
DVD.
just for something a little bit
Yeah, I don't
different.
want the
This
DVDs,
one's
I want
for
the
beautiful
VHS.
gold
I want
trevally.
the
I saw them
VHS.
coming across the flats, 2 or 3 fish. It was a little hard to tell.
So should
what
I
they
be
are. There's queenfish there as
messaging
well.
Colin soon about
Got the
doing
squidgy in front of him
an
and
Easter
just
show?
zipped it a couple of times.
Potentially, yeah, why not?
Bingo, he's all over it. And
Cool.
That's a lovely, lovely goal.
We need to show him that I have
fishing
the,
with the squidgy on the flats for these things.
the red bud.
Better
I
than
got
that.
it too.
Look at this.
Yeah?
Yeah, we both have a copy.
Nice. Feel the tension on that reel. Lucky it's a Shimano. Hey!
Yes,
Yes.
very lucky. I think.
He's dipping his tip in the water again.
Just the tip.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the idea of a squidgy? Is it just meant to replace bait?
Yeah, it's meant to look like bait, so that instead of getting a quick feed and then being let go, the fish
What I love
completely
about
gets
these
nothing
golden
out of the
valleys, they've
whole
got no
fishing
teeth, no
situation.
spines, no scoots. They're just a dream when it comes to handling. You can tail them like that, and there it is.
Well, I'm glad, because I used to go
A larger
bloody
squidgy
flathead
fish
fishing. Now,
in
you
the
say you
silver
know
fox, because
absolutely
a fair few
nothing
small
about fishing. You
trevally
never
and
went
queenies
fishing
started
as
to
a
move
kid
in
or
there.
anything like that.
And
I
thought
think
that by
it was
going
one of
for
those
the bigger
things
one,
where
I
my
might be
dad
able to
just
high
liked
grade.
to take us out. He didn't
And
actually
it
care
worked.
about catching fish. He just wanted to.
Scored that
Cool.
lovely
Flathead
golden
have
valley.
poisonous
Look at his mouth,
spines.
Got really rubbery lips.
Why would
and
you want that?
Yeah, I know, right? I got bitten so many times by
sucking
poisonous
crustaceans and things like
flatheads,
that.
and like
Chase down bait
it's
fish.
kind of one of those poisons
squidgies.
where if you get bitten by like a
They handle
huntsman,
pretty well.
well.
It's like, oh,
he's got
I've
plenty
got
of
a
life
spider
in him.
bite. It's going to be
Face
itchy
him
for a
up
few
into the
days, sort of
current.
thing. It's
And
one
away
of those
goes.
things where, like, it doesn't
Well, that's given you
matter,
a bit
but
of
it's
an
going
idea
to, like,
of what
be
you can do
annoying
with
for a
squidgies
few days.
out in the open. It's not all about vertical fishing, slow presentations. You can catch fast-moving pelagic fish on them too.
He said
Queenies,
pelagic
trevally,
again.
tuna, mackerel,
Oh,
you name
look
it.
at
The sky's the
tuna.
limit.
There we go.
I told you it was a tuna. They were
Bushy and I
so
are a couple
big.
of thousand kilometres further south from where Starlo just enjoyed that amazing session on the flats of Cape
There's
York.
Bushy again.
But
Look
we're
at
still
him.
in Queensland.
He's totally not
In fact,
even
we're
a
at Lentils
TV
Dam,
person.
a few
Absolutely
hours
not.
drive
He's
north
just
of
Doing
Brisbane.
the
All
rabbit
to the
ears
middle
and
of
the
winter here in
jokes and
Queensland. We're
everything.
looking forward
He's
to some
not a
pretty
TV
hot
person.
action, we hope, on the spinnerbaits today.
And these squidgy spinnerbaits are lethal
That was a-
pieces of
that was a
gear.
little
Now,
cut.
I
That
know
was a
you're their
bad
daddy.
cut.
You
That
put
was
a
a
lot of
terrible
work into
cut.
these, Ian. Now, why are they fantastic?
Well, as you know, mate, spinnerbaits are a great lure for working right throughout the water column.
This
You
is
can
a
fish them shallow
sponsored
near the
segment.
surface and you can fish them
Banana,
deep.
banana.
With the squidgy spinnerbaits, we've worked in a lot of features into the design to make them just a
So,
little bit better
Starlo
for
himself
Australian fish.
actually
Right, they helicopter down really well,
makes
they
his
buzz
own.
well.
He doesn't make
Yep,
them
you
like
can even
from
make them
scratch,
dive
but
if you
he
wind them
gets
slowly.
them
They'll
made.
still work
His own
and dive
squidgies.
when
He
you
has his
want to
own
get down deep,
website
so
now that he
some pretty
sells
good round
these
here. I reckon
squidgies
we should
from.
pretty much
That's why
start.
he wants to
I can't wait to have a
advertise
go.
if we ever actually do
Because
a
of their
full
versatility,
Zoom
spinnerbaits
interview.
are ideal searching tools when exploring new water, whether
Whatever,
it be in a
mate.
river
I
or
mean,
a
if I
lake.
get
And
to
that's
film it, I'm
exactly
gonna
what Ian
frickin'
and
film
Fishy
it,
are
and then I'll
doing
just keep
here,
it
as
for the
neither
next
of them has fished
fishing
Lentils
episode.
Dam
It's fine.
before. They're concentrating their efforts along the
But,
shoreline
he's
and any
screwing me
weed bed
around
edges
last
or
week,
pockets,
so
using a
didn't happen by
variety
this
of
episode.
retrieves to effectively search the water column, and it doesn't take
Bark,
too long
bark.
for this proven strategy to pay off.
Oh, on the light tackle, Bushy.
Yes, Barra.
Just slow rolling.
Oh,
it
there's
to the very
Barra.
smallest.
His name's Barra
spinnerbait
because he catches the
right along the bottom
barramundi.
there.
Yeah.
Well, we've literally
Yeah.
been here about 5 minutes. so
And the
that's
crowd
not too
goes
bad.
I
wild.
had quite a few casts at the
Yeah.
edge there without any luck. So
Oh, nice fish too. Good solid fish. That's a pretty sexy looking spinnerbait too. I like that colour, that blue.
That's a pretty sexy looking spinnerbait. What does that mean, spinnerbait?
Glenbourne and even up north in the tropics on the Toga, they've been working well.
I
that
just
particular
don't
colour.
understand
And
enough
here's,
of
I
the
believe
lingo.
there's two really distinct year classes in this dam too.
I don't know what
This
spinnerbait means. I
class,
don't
and
know
then
what
there's a bigger one as
sexy
well.
means.
Bigger
It's
one,
just...
Bigger one as well.
Let's get some more spinnerbaits
Okay.
in there.
Stop saying spinnerbait.
Another thing
Kiss it before you
Now,
put it back.
Wait a minute here, Ian. This is a
to
bit
really
sneaky.
cement
How
how
come most
much
of the spinnerbaits I've
I
seen coming
either
from the
hate
States got a
or
big
just do not
sturdy
give a
fin.
shit about
The old
fishing.
little ones got a
If
little
there's
tiny fin.
like
What's the go
fishing
with that?
mini
Well, the
games
go is the
in
squidgy
other
tail,
games,
Bushy, the
I
squidgy
normally
factor.
just
We know how much
do
the
not
fish
care.
like them on jigs, but they also
Come on,
love
you
them
gotta
when
catch
they're
all
on
those
spinnerbait
fish
too.
in
And
Zelda,
the whole
right?
squidgy
Yeah,
spinnerbait
and then
concept,
I
of course,
do it
is
just so
centred
I can
around
unlock
squidgy
whatever I need to
tails.
unlock,
Right,
and
I
then
suppose
I'll
instead
never
of getting
do
a
it
big
again.
mouthful of fluffy skirt that they're not used to,
I
it's
know,
like
I
a
caught
little
the
shrimp
biggest
or a
fish
prawn, so they
in
actually get
that,
the hook straight in the mouth.
was
with
it
it.
Ocarina
I
of
think
Time?
they're a lot
The
more
fishing
suited to
mini
our
game?
native
Yeah,
fish
yeah.
and the size of their
I
mouth,
caught
and I
that-
think
that
also the
fish.
way that they take the lure.
Oh, there you go. I'm going to put one of those on.
Oh yeah.
Stardew Valley, all the fishing in that game. I was like, God damn it, this game would be better if I didn't have to do the fishing.
Can we steal this music?
Okay, let's see if we can get another one. What did you do with that thing? Was it helicoptering or just
No,
slowly?
let it go right to the bottom and then just really slow
That's a good
rolling
little
it.
spinnerbait. I like that.
Climbed on
Spinnerbait.
beautifully.
He said spinnerbait again. Fishing. I like how their boat says fishing. Just in case you forgot what you were doing.
In case someone else sees them and is like, what are those?
One of those
shady
guys
characters
do
up
it
to?"
on the boat.
Lake with plenty of
Ah,
likely fish
fishing.
holding cover.
This
Ah,
isn't a
fishing.
this isn't a homosexual
Weed beds,
encounter.
large rafts of
fishing.
lily pads,
We're
all
fishing.
of which is prime squidgy
Oh,
spinnerbait
boy.
territory.
Yeah, with spinnerbaits, they're very weedless, so you can actually drop them in a little pocket like that, let them sink down behind weed if you want to, and then you can actually
and
pop
they've
them
got
out
weed.
over the top of the weed or the snag and then drop them
Yeah.
again straight away on the other
That's
side.
how
in
they
front
can
of it,
pay
because
attention for so long.
Fish get right in amongst the weed there in the channels and they're expecting to find food in there, so you often get bit on the drop. So when you cast in there, just get
I
ready.
often get bit on the drop myself.
This will be good. You can fish
Whoop.
way, way, way back in the cover there. Just pull it through the weed, and if you don't catch a fish, you just pop it out and wind it back. And if you do catch a fish, lock up and wind like crazy.
Oh, so if you don't catch a fish, you have to wind it back in. But if you do catch a fish, then what you should do is you should wind it back in.
He's got you around the weeds there, mate.
I
you're
think
clear
he's a
now.
monster, so I think I've got him.
Oh, you're so broken.
Well, it's a little bit different technique to
Gibberish.
yours, Ian.
This is as
Right,
bad
so
as when we did the
next to those
ATV
weeds,
video.
And the slow roll. I just threw right in hard in the bank under those sort of trees right on the edge
Can't
and a
wait
quick
for
burn.
Halloween.
Okay.
Just a nice fast retrieve to have
Is
that blade
a-
really whirring.
it's
And
gonna
the fish
suck,
sort of have to make
or
up their
it's
minds
gonna
all of a
actually be a
sudden
good
whether they
episode?
want
I mean,
it
I
or
love
not.
Halloween
wind these
stuff,
really
but the one
fast,
Halloween video
Yeah,
that we've got is that
design,
one
they're
where
very,
they get
very
stuck in the
stable.
mud a
You
lot.
can crank them almost
Very
flat out.
stable.
Also,
Oh,
still
yeah.
sit in the water and burn them really fast, and they don't rise up too quick either. You can burn
I
really
remember
fast
that.
and then
Yeah.
let
Extreme.
them sink back down
We'll
Extreme!
chuck him in.
Aw,
Just another sneaky way to
Yeah.
use the old squidgy spinner.
Oh,
bait.
he
again.
said
For all these
Squidgy.
techniques.
little sneaky wife.
Yep. Oh, that's a better fish. Oh,
That's about a
He's
fish.
got a bit of get up and go.
Yeah, he has. I think I've got him out past that.
Where's his quocks,
Well,
though?
this one's got a
He
bit
needs
of time.
quocks on his hand.
Well, that's 2 and 3 casts.
I can see a pattern forming.
Yeah, there's a bit of a pattern for
Don't
you.
get in the way of his eyes while he's
And that's
fishing.
one of the things you have to keep your eye on too.
Yeah,
when
but
you're
it keeps
fishing
the flies out
any
of his
sort of a
eyes.
lure, but
It's Australian
spin
way.
bait.
Oh,
Well-
yeah, that's a nice one. That's one of those bigger class fish, I think.
that's
I don't know, roll out the
we can
pending
get him up
Heavy
and
as your leader.
hopefully
Whoa, just heavy
measuring
enough.
wade
thing.
in.
Let's advertise that again.
Yeah,
huh?
once you get a bit of a pattern, it's very important to notice what you're doing with your lure, with your spinnerbait. If you've been bitten
Spinnerbait.
on a fast retrieve, well,
you
just
see
throw
that
it back
bait
in there and do
spinning
another
before?
fast retrieve.
It
like I
was
just
spinning
did.
alright.
That's why
And
it was a
if you're bitten when
spinnerbait.
you're on the drop,
Exciting.
slowly helicoptering down, try some more of that.
It does the
So
helicopter.
just keep your eye on what you're doing with your
I remember
spinnerbait.
my old
Right
roommate
around.
used to do the
I can
helicopter.
see a nice little snag
Yeah.
in there. I'm just going to
Yeah.
try and sneak one.
Ian's got another cast right in on
Like
the
a
bank, so I'm
record,
going to have to
baby.
get this one back in the
Right
water
after the
quickly and,
shower.
have another cast.
Bye!
Well, I might be slow, but I'm not silly. I'm gonna do the
Traumatized
same
you
as
for your
mate.
life.
Get down to that smaller one again and start cranking them out a bit quicker.
too.
Start cranking them out a bit.
Mightn't have blasted them all out of that yet either.
I'll blast them all out of it. That's all
Nothing
sexual,
better than
I
a
swear.
bite on a fast crank spinnerbait, is there?
It's absurd.
Great stuff.
Good
Spinnerbait.
stuff, isn't it?
Winding away and just go crunch.
And the other good thing about these, they're particularly weed resistant. The way you've got that arm just on that good angle.
What
you can
word was
whack it
that?
Right in there in the shallows. We can.
They're particularly
any bait
which
you can throw right in there like that and go over a log, drop it in, crank it.
Bogans.
There's another good
Go
thing
over
about
the
them,
log,
Gio.
drop it
I
in.
reckon these outcast most other spinnerbaits by about 100%. So when
Spinnerbait.
you want to get the jump on your mate, fire it way down there.
That's too far to cast. I don't know why
Yeah,
you wanna
but he's a
cast way down
Shimano
there when I'm gonna
expert,
catch
so
a
he
fish just
knows.
there.
I already fished that one.
I already fished that bit of water. There can't possibly be another fish in that water.
Yep. Oh, that's a better fish.
Shallow water.
Hold on to me.
Was that a cuddle? That was totally
Hold
a
on to
cuddle.
me.
Did you see? Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
big fish. Hold me.
We saw that cuddle.
Technique with, these squidgy spinnerbaits.
I love it.
See that little
Aw,
pile of weed right there?
they had a
I threw the
cuddle.
lure in, it landed about 6 inches from that patch
Wait,
of weed.
I heard some
Because they're having
really.
a good time, right?
And that
I heard
lure
some
was
really
just like a
dramatic
little
music. Where did it
helicoptering.
go?
The blade was just turning. That lure was falling
They
vertically
call
it the
down
spikes
through the
on
water,
that
right
thing.
next to that
Touch
patch
'em.
of weeds, and zoom, the line just took off, and that fish was on the end. So that's just
So,
another technique for you. Always be aware that you may be
That's a
bitten by
technique
bass
for you.
while you're helicoptering down. And these squidgy
Always
spins,
be aware of
absolutely
the
sensational for
spinnerbait while it's
That little
helicoptering
blade
down.
hangs up there.
That's the
helicopters away,
squidgy. That's the
lure goes
squidgy
down like
secret.
that, and
We-
he couldn't resist.
We're getting
If
all
you're
the
fishing them
tips.
deep, mate, you can actually count them down. They do half a metre a second.
It's handy to know, if you find a fish on the sounder, you'll know how deep it is, and you can count it down so that it goes right down where they are. I love this spinnerbait fishing.
Bushy's been catching
I
far
hate
too
you,
many
Bushy.
fish on that gold spinnerbait of his, and unfortunately, I don't have another one left in the tackle box. But what I do have is a spinnerbait with a gold blade. And one of the beauties of the Squidgy
it's
spinnerbait range
green.
is that we can select
Squidgies.
any colour squidgy tail that we like, and we can fit it to the spinnerbait, providing it's the right size. So I do have some gold tails here in the tackle box, and you fit them onto the lure exactly as you would onto a normal jig head, with the one exception, and that is that
You're
you
a
cut
jig
the
head.
front of the lure off, just behind
Barra.
the moulded head of the tail like that.
Whoa! Don't cut the
Green one off
spinnerbait.
Rip.
And now I'll simply replace it,
Now it's
the
worth
gold
less
tail.
money.
thread it on as you
In
would
the
normally,
collection.
straight down the middle
Honestly, though,
and back out.
I have to say,
The
I
very
kind of
top of the lure,
recognize
so it
Barra.
sits straight.
I kind of think
I've got a
I
goal
know
lure to
his
try and
face
match
from
him.
somewhere.
Hopefully I'll be able to catch
And you
one
did
now.
fishing when you were a kid, so
I
probably.
did, so yeah, but it's one of those things where it's come up. Like, I don't recognize Starlo, even though I watched Rex Hunt when I was a kid. I didn't care about fishing, but it was fun because Grandpa was watching it. But I don't recognize Starlo, or whatever his name is. I don't recognize him at all. I don't recognize this bushy, bearded mustache guy. But for some reason, Barrett,
We've run
I
out of time
recognize
here
him
on
from somewhere.
Squidgy Secrets Part 2, Beyond the Basics.
But we hope you've enjoyed the show because we've said...
Hey!
Yeah, no,
I don't think
I
you're going to
didn't.
get away that lightly, because next year we're going to bring out the secrets of Squidgy's Part 3.
Yeah, is it an actual more secrets, or is it just you going on another fucking adventure and claiming it on tax?
Karma got you.
Thanks, Bushies. Thanks, Starlight.
I hated this.
Yeah, but it's by the guy who was on Rex Hunt. He's
I don't like Rex Hunt either.
famous. I think Rex Hunt would be harder to watch than this just because of the nostalgia. That's
I
like a-
disagree just
ultimate-
because he has more personality than all three of these guys put together.
He keeps putting his tongue in Fish's mouth. That would make me upset in the way that I'd want to vomit.
That's interesting.
Doing up to Northern Territory to film this. Hey, there's an email there.
That's exactly where I'm not going. to Northern Territory.
What would you do up in the Northern Territory?
Ask for directions away from the Northern Territory.
Oh, this was presented by Channel 7, apparently. From the Hooked on Adventure series. I'm sure we'll see more of those in the future.
That implies to me that you have ordered part 1 already.
I have not. I'm just saying that the Hooked on Adventure series is more than just fishing that Channel 7 did. We've got a whole bunch of Channel 7
Oh,
videos.
okay.
We missed Australia Day this year, but I've got the Australia Day.
Oh, that's a
Where
good
they...
one. It stopped for a second there, so I thought it's kept
That's
going.
fine, you can rewind it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the Channel 7 Australia Day video. Well, when we did the New Year's special, that was another Channel 7 video. Channel 7 did a lot of direct-to-video things.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of them in our collection. I'm a little upset that we missed Australia Day and I have to save it for next year. Because I can't even do it on May 8th because it's deliberately one of those recreations of the boats coming in and shooting all the Aboriginals.
Oh my god.
Like, that's what it is. It's like
It just
old
sounds
school.
horrible.
It's old school Australia Day stuff, so yeah. Alright. No more squidgies.
Thank god.
So, I'm glad that you hated the fishing video because it's a fishing video day. We're only going to do 2 videos. The second video we have is called Rob Lockwood's Kingfisher. Now, this is one of those ones with the pictures on the back that make it look like it's important. They've hired someone to do the Photoshop on this. Like,
Never, yeah, that 2000. This is from the year 2000.
This is in the year 2000.
Oh,
So
boy.
basically, this is not even like a secret. Like that one was like they were trying to say, we're going to show you how to use squidgy lures. This one is just, we're going on a trip and we're going to put it on video.
Oh man.
Like there's nothing redeeming about this particular video.
I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna read the back because oh my god.
Alright, I'll tell you stories about it as
On
we're
the
watching.
Clarence. Yeah, while it's playing.
It's fine, it's fine. Yeah,
For
yeah.
real.
We'll just, let's get real with it. We don't want to waste any time.
Well, we've already run out of things to say about fishing. So
We'll do it again.
on the mid-eastern, upon the Clarence, on the
What's a
eastern
Clarence?
coast of Australia. I don't know. Let's find out.
Quick, look up Clarence. I don't know what that is. Oh, listen to
It
them.
might be a river. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Clarence River.
Okay, it's a river. Go on, continue.
In New South Wales.
Yep.
Alright, I'll start again. Here we
Keep
go.
going.
Upon the Clarence on the mid-eastern coast of Australia, fishing guide Rob Lockwood paddles his last trip for the season. Each and every summer, with lure and fly, Rob and his mates are drawn towards wild, flowing rivers, deep to the shadowed haunts of the river gull, the Australian bass, king of the river Goodoo, lured by the thrill of the catch and the warmth of release by the other day. With the coming of winter, Rob's last trip is a journey of reflection, of fond memories, good times and mateship, of stories, myth, and legend. This is the kingdom of the Kingfisher. Almost timed out well.
That was pretty good. I liked it. So, already we can see this has got a higher production budget than the one that was actually trying to be something that had freaking sponsors and stuff. So, like, what's up with that? This is a guy named Rob, whatever his name is, Rob Lawrence. Rob Lockwood.
With his mates Kevin Clark, Jeremy Sheehan, and Peter Sullivan.
So this looks less like a home movie than the one that was by the guy who was in Rex Hunt. I've never
So
heard of
that
this
looked
guy.
like a TV show. This looks like a made for VHS.
But it's got that kind of little extra budget where they're made for VHS.
As in, this is a feature. This was made for.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that was the TV show kind of level. This is more of a we're deliberately making a movie.
Also,
sort
the
of
music
thing.
is by Phil Emanuel.
Yeah, why are you bringing that? Oh, it's a pretty big credit on the.
It's the biggest credit on the front, other than the title.
Deep clear pools.
Big clear pools.
Anyway, what did you have to say about this?
To the shadow haunts of river
About this exciting thing. Sure. Okay, so in 2013. So this was made in 2000. So 13 years later, Rob went missing near the Snowy Mountains, out near Jindabyne, which is to the left of Australia, I think. He had car troubles. He spent like a while in the town near Jindabyne. But they were sending up police helicopters, search parties and everything because everyone was like worried about him, that he had gone missing. Like he was just gone! And they're like, oh my god, we've got to send out all the helicopters, where's Rob? And they did find him.
Was he dead?
He was fishing.
At the end of the season,
Can you imagine that scene? Oh, we found him, everybody! We found him! What's the good word, mates?
I just goes fishing. Okay, so the reason why it's kind of funny is because, alright, so this idiot was meant to be going on a fishing trip, but because he didn't get to his fishing trip, his car broke down. He spent time, he's like, what's the good word? Of like, where can I go fishing instead? So he went fishing elsewhere and didn't tell anybody. He didn't ring anybody. I mean, this is 2013. We should all have mobile phones by now, right?
He's a boomer, probably not.
So he's a boomer, probably not. But like, we should at least be able to go to a payphone and say, hey, can you tell my wife that I've just gone fishing here instead of somewhere else? They did a whole search party for him because he went missing and he was just fishing like an idiot.
Time alone with the Clarence. Time to think. To reflect upon fond memories. Good times with good mates and good fish.
My wife just said, I think
For
we
Rob,
need sound
it's the
gonna
essence of
message her real
freedom.
quick and say
The
there's
spirit of
something in the
rotten
door.
real adventure. The kingdom of the Kingfisher.
Alright, I'll put that.
Oh boy, fishing sucks.
Unless you just ate.
Kevin Clark also knows Kingfisher country like the back of his hand. He's fished the Clarence since he was 5 years old. Knows the system and all those that share it.
So if you hold out the
Each
back
with
of
their
your
own place of
hand,
importance in the well-being of the
do you
river.
understand it?
Nope.
He's one of the original
Every now and then
sports
I'm like,
fishers,
what's
and
this?
to Rob, a freshwater legend. He showed him the finer art
This
of
is
catching
the
trophy
hair that I
bass.
grow on the back of my
A while
hand.
back now.
I'm pretty sure that's just
They
there
hadn't
to wipe
fished
up
together
my
for
boogies.
ages. So the first trip of the season earlier in spring held special
Ah,
memory
what
for
is
him.
that bright coloured thing? We should be
Anytime was
using
good enough to be
squidgies.
back on the river
My
again with
hands
Kevin.
are a bit hairier than yours.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A bit of a belly hand, man.
Well, it's a warm day.
She said, haha, sorry.
Right.
Right.
Nice to be back on the water.
With good water and abundant prey, The wild bass of the Clarence are some of the biggest in the country.
That's why they're hunting.
5 and 6 pound.
Because they're hunting
Fish.
Sometimes more.
They're prey. I
But
doubt
often,
these guys are
liver
going to
gold
put them
make way
back.
for more aggressive predators. For old man Clarence
If
is
we
also
ever
the
find a
king of
real
the
hunting
Indian.
video, would you watch that?
Powerful fish
Yeah.
and a great survivor.
I hate it.
Depends
Once
on what it
poisoned,
is.
dynamited,
Where they
and
like
plundered to
got
near
the deer and
extinction.
stuff.
The
Oh,
good
I don't
are
know
still
if we would
threatened
be
and
allowed
now
to.
fully
Oh, is
protected.
that violent?
Yeah, I feel
If
like
it hadn't
that.
been for
But that's
people
just
like
food,
Devil,
right?
they'd probably be gone by
Oh, I
now.
would have thought so, but
In the
Yeah,
late
I'm a
80s,
little upset that I
he helped
mixed out
release
on that
30,000
taxidermy
females.
video.
They
I
thrived
would've watched
and
that.
now rule the river.
who wanted that?
I
This
know.
is
it.
the intrigue and attraction
I
of
was
the
just
Clarence.
waiting until I got paid
Two
so I could
aggressive
grab it, and
predators in the
somebody
one
else
system.
wanted it. Man,
Who would
I
strike
reckon it was
first?
Reese. Reese probably has it.
Ask him.
I will. Be like, you
See
jerk.
the platypus
Where's-
down
Buy
there?
that fucking
Little beauty.
Where's my
taxidermy
taxidermy
video,
video?
motherfucker.
Oh, down he goes.
I piss him off all the
He's not a
time, by the way.
30-pound cod
I
there,
constantly
he's
like
not
send him selfies and stuff, and we're not even friends. I just like, hey Reese, how you
He
doing
doesn't
today?
come back
He's
up.
like,
We'll know what's happened.
okay. I'm like, good. Just checking in. Love you,
Mate, I
man.
won't
Bye.
even ask you, do you want first cast? Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Oh, just go. I'm just going to start casting.
Oh my god, this one's gonna have so much more padding than the last.
This one's going to be only padding.
Only padding. Yeah?
Should have started with it. Oh, God.
Oh, but listen to that soundtrack. It was advertised on the front cover with the biggest credit. I should have looked
Oh,
up
I'm
that
so
guy
impressed.
instead. Let's do that. Where is?
Oh, you beauty.
Cover over here.
Good on you, Rob.
Let's look up.
Phil
That's
Emmanuel.
a good strike.
Alright.
The rod really bent down.
That's a good
That was
strike.
a lovely fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at my face. Thank you. Alright, we're going to do some on-the-fly research. Alright, Phil. Phil Emmanuel. Not the same Emmanuel that
He's a nice little healthy
went around doing...
Just give us a look at the vent, mate.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Emmanuel?
Yeah, it's
It was a softcore
it's a
porn
female.
series
Oh,
back in the
okay.
70s where she was like a
There you go.
reporter and then she ended up like
Oh,
making
that's
love
alright.
to the locals and stuff.
How old do you think she'd be?
I typed pill.
Just hold it right up so I can give it a look. Oh, you're looking at...
Hey,
Yeah, she'd be probably about 5
Well, there
to
you
6
go.
years old.
Really?
there he is.
She's probably...
Phil
2 or
Emmanuel,
3.
OEM,
On
was
a
an
second-
Australian
second
guitar
spin.
player that found
That's great,
fame
Good to see.
Yeah.
with the Trailblazers, and his older brother was Tommy Emmanuel.
Beautiful.
You know Tommy Emmanuel?
Do I?
You don't?
I don't
Okay,
know.
he was a big guitarist, Australian guy.
People and their names, man, I don't even remember, like, people
Okay,
like
so-
Mick's names most of the
Okay,
time.
so Tommy Emmanuel back in the 90s was a big deal as a good
If you
guitar
can
player.
imagine
He was
the-
in like a lot of
the,
different things. So
the
he's the
river
little
system,
brother of Tommy Emmanuel,
particularly
which
the
is amazing.
Sierra
I should have looked this up
river
before.
systems.
So apparently Phil
Top of the
Emmanuel
mountains down
played
where
with
you've got
INXS, Jimmy
really steep
Barnes, John
banks
Farnham,
with-
Ian
with
Moss, Slim
pristine
Dusty,
habitat on it.
and some
coming down
international
to where it
artists
comes out
like
into
Hank
farming
B.
land where you've
Marvin.
got
No, I don't know those. Dolly
agriculture
Parton. He played with
and
Dolly
pristine
Parton at one
habitat
point.
right along the rocky ledges and
His
that.
own
So
solo
that's very
album was
important
called
to the fish
Kakadu
life in the
Sunrise,
river
like
system there.
totally
Not only
like putting his chips in on the
habitat
Australian
on
thing
the-
there.
on
Oh,
the
yeah.
riverbanks themselves, but
Best
also
adult
the
contemporary
in-stream
album.
habitat,
Ooh, adult.
which fish like
he's
Australian
won
bass and
awards
eastern
and
freshwater
stuff.
cod need. They
Yeah.
they like big rocky ledges
dead.
that hang out over the water, and
He
they can get in
died
underneath
suddenly
and
of
use
an
them for
asthma
cover,
attack. He should have been watching
particularly
that
in
aggro
feeding where they
video.
ambush their food.
Oh.
In New South Wales in 2018,
You've also got
age
a lot
65.
of trees like bottlebrush and that grow along the edge
Whee!
and that harvest a lot of
Stop dinging
insect
me.
life and bird life, and there's little bird
What?
nests in it, and you'll find that fish will hang around underneath the trees.
The thing
and they
is,
know
if I
that
do
the
that
birds
to
are
my
nesting
phone,
in
it won't go
because
to you
some
anymore.
fall out and they'll eat
It's
them.
got the don't annoy me,
Cod
turn
will
it
sort of
over
eat
thing.
anything
It's so good.
that falls out of a
But
tree.
yeah, Phil Emmanuel, the
Whether
guy
it's
who's
a
doing
willow
all those
wagtail
sweet
or-
guitar licks is
or whether it's a lizard that
somebody
jumps
out
out,
there's
but
going
that's
to know
what
who
they
Tommy
like,
Emmanuel
and,
is, even if you
With the
don't.
eastern cod, it's very important.
I think
to
he might
that
have played with the
in-stream
tin
habitat
lids once.
during their breeding season, and that where they'll attach their eggs to a rock.
You don't know who the tin lids are
a
either?
big log.
No.
or
John
like
Farnham's
that.
kids. And like their whole
fish just don't.
They
Oh,
just
what the
don't.
fuck would I care about that of all things?
Because they
Jesus
did a
Christ.
video clip where they went, open the door, get on the floor,
Oh,
everybody
no,
walks the dinosaur.
Because it
Bunch of kids doing that.
crustaceans like
Yeah, but do you remember the bunch of kids, the Australian kids doing it?
So that's very important.
Of course you know the song because it was in the Mario
So
movie.
there's still some great fishing in that
yeah,
country
that's where I would
because
know
the
it's
river
from.
Yeah.
systems like it.
See, James knows who the Timbits are.
I don't like Jimmy Barnes, so
Nobody likes Jimmy Barnes.
he's the most overrated.
Apparently, he was kind of not nice to the people that set up these shows.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
I think my ex-wife set up these shows. Yeah,
Stood next to Jimmy Barnes at the pub.
short fellow. Don't want no short fellow, man.
Short people got no reason. No new name. We can't rename him.
Why not? Go ahead. I'm just gonna ignore it. Talk.
Fancy new name.
Hey man, you always have a friend in me. I just don't get some of the things you're talking about.
Yeah, let's not forget. It's real history. It really happened. It just got covered up by the government.
Oh my god, like, what are they even showing in this video? Okay, so here's something I find interesting. Okay, I understand that this is clickbait. The Squidgy Secrets is clickbait. So, like, the people that buy it think that they're gonna learn something and don't. But this isn't even, like, trying to pretend it's something that it's not.
I don't know. I
Who
can't,
would
like,
buy it?
I can't make sense of it.
Is it somebody in a wheelchair who wants to be fishing but can't go on a fishing trip, so they watch the fishing trip? The thing is, I whinge about it as much as I can, but what do I do on like a 24-hour basis is I play video games on the internet. Like, why would anyone want to watch that?
Well, yeah,
That's the same sort
I
of
guess
thing.
it's just the sort of thing where it's like... I mean, there's also probably a thing where people want to, like, see the magic of it. Like, oh man, I watched this guy's video and it made fishing look so good, and now I have to go fishing so I can mimic that experience.
No, that sounds terrific.
Oh man, I don't hear that very much. But I love the sound. Kookaburras. I remember when I was younger, kookaburras were screaming about everything.
Kevin's extremely successful at bass fishing, particularly in the clouds, because he spends so
Got
much
to
time there.
go way out into the country.
He knows when fish will bite, when they won't bite.
Was I with you when we saw that kookaburra laughing at us out of Winchelsea, or was that my wife?
Which pool they'll be,
I
and
can't
right down to
discern
under
the
which rock
difference
they'll be.
between you
If
and
there's
my
50
wife
rocks, and he'll
pretty
know
much
which one. They all look the same.
Yeah.
But he'll pick out the one rock there, he'll get a bass.
Only you
He
get
almost, excuse the word, thinks and breathes like a bass. Nobody has taught him. He's learnt it all himself, and he's just got this wealth of knowledge.
I was actually surprised because Winchelsea isn't that far away, and like I don't see many kookaburras unless I
pleasure
go
to
out.
be with Kevin. You learn lots
Like
from
the
fishing
Yarra,
with him.
the Yarra
He's
River
almost got
area,
scales at sometimes,
the
an uncanny
Barossa
amount
Valley
of
wine
fish that he
region.
does
There's
catch.
quite a bunch of them out there, over near the Healesville Sanctuary sort of thing.
Bass are more of a
But
fighting
here,
fish than
They're
cod.
leaving because
They're
they're
very
just
fast
developing
bass.
too much
They
land.
take a lot of line off you
Yeah,
in a
and
short
I
time.
also heard that
Where cod are a
people used
slower
to
swimming
catch them
fish,
and
but
eat them
you
as
know,
well.
got a lot of power.
That's bizarre.
That bass will strike in
at
an
the same
instant.
time, I wouldn't
just
mind
a flash,
trying
that's all
one
you
to see
see,
what it's like, but
you got 'em
ultimately,
on
it
and,
can't be that much different
They'll
than chickens,
try
right?
and get you back into the snags and into the
Or
weed
turkey.
beds and things
Or
like that.
turkey, or whatever else is better for the environment, raising and eating,
I've been fishing for bass since I
rather
was
than
5-year-old.
snatching things
They
off
just
the,
give me the
old
magic
gum tree.
that I like, you know, what you want about a fish. They just got a touch of magic about them. So I love fishing for them.
A touch, it's
Oh,
a
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of magic.
That's good.
Oh, you're on, mate.
Mate, yeah. Just going forward a little bit.
Yep.
Because otherwise you're going to wrap me around these rocks.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a nice fish too. Feels good.
Oh, yeah, excellent.
Oh, feels
excellent.
good.
Mate, he's just laying over there
Is it
waiting to
magic?
ambush anything that comes past. He's right in against them rocks. I just
Don't
want to
touch
keep him
it,
off
don't touch it. Ah, we crashed.
Good. He's taking a bit of drag. No, he's back.
We're gonna sink! I can't swim! Oh,
Oh, that's great.
Good on you, mate.
Camera falls under the boat and there's just a bunch of fish just like punching it, basically just swimming into it.
That's right.
This is what
Trying
makes
to
it
sink
so
it,
great.
like,
man.
This is what you get. You
A lot
took
of times
my
I look to just
cousin.
entice them out, even if you.
We've
you just
caught
get
a person,
flash
we've
from
caught
it,
a
just gives a
person.
hook up.
Eat
It's a
him.
nice feeling of satisfaction that you know that you're doing the right thing.
Oh my god, this has
And
got
you're working the lures
voiceover.
right. Been a bit cold.
Because
So
they
they
didn't
didn't
say
know he's doing the
It's
right
been
thing,
cold
he
and-
said.
Because they could. They
Not fighting
they
like
couldn't
you would
think
in
of anything
midsummer.
good to say while they were actually fishing. They had to voice over it later.
Well, you can see this beautiful run where he came from. Look, you got the water coming through there and over here. He was just lying up underneath there, and the insects.
Just
had come
catch
down
the
and-
fish.
whatever's
Don't
drifting around
make
there
it like it's
moths
something
and
bigger. Okay, so here's an interesting fact about me. This is
The
probably
colour is
something I
beautiful.
might have told you,
Nice
but
and
I
gold.
probably haven't.
He's not a big
I
fish,
actually
but,
watch a fishing show.
Nice size.
You
Yeah.
haven't mentioned that.
That's what I love
I
about
watch,
this place.
um,
It's just got, great cod, great bass. It's just got everything.
I saw a
Bob
cod come
Mortimer
up like you're doing
and the
now,
guy
big
from the
cod come up
Fast
one
Show
time
who
and
does
just
the
snaffle
It's
one down that
Brilliant!
size.
They do a fishing
And
show
spat him
together,
straight back out.
Yeah.
but they don't
Well, it wouldn't
bang
be hard
on
for
about
20
like,
pound
oh,
cod to
it's
do that.
brilliant, the fishing
that's
is
the
so
type of
good
magic
and the
bass
fish is
can give
beautiful
you,
and stuff. They just talk shit while they fish.
That's not a fishing show then, that's just a show with fishing in it.
Yeah, it's just
That's the
them.
difference.
And because they've lived such a huge, interesting comedy life in the
all these
in the
things are
British
flashing
TV
through your
series,
mind. You can
like
see the
Kingdom,
snags and the
that they
and
just
the
talk
fish going
shite.
for it. So it's really
And it's
exciting
interesting.
stuff. And I think that they really
And then they are
put a
fishing at the
touch
same
of
time.
class to freshwater fishing. I love them when they're like that.
River gold.
I watched
You
that.
got that nice green
I don't mind it.
back
It's
on
good
it.
for background noise. But they're just going on so much
This is a
about
new
how
lure I
good
put on. I
fishing
didn't push
is
the damn
here.
barbs down.
Like, shut up.
He's well
Just
hooked.
trying to, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
you
that's
might have
better.
to keep that one. Kill it. Oh, now you've got it caught over there. I find
Oh,
it
that's great.
Beautiful.
honestly a barbaric sport.
Beautiful.
Like even like some
Yeah, I'll just let
vegetarians
him go
say
back
that
here,
eating
mate, so you
fish
go on that
isn't
rock,
eating
that'll do.
meat. I'm like, no, come on, these creatures.
See you.
Hey! He did the Rex hunt! He did the Rex hunt!
You just take me back a bit there now.
But the other thing is, like, they pull it out of the water and it starts suffocating.
Yeah.
Back to fight another day.
It's the way.
Maybe
Catch you
it's all
next
right
time.
Next time. You're hooking. And he'll be a pound bigger.
Traumatized it. It's never gonna go for a bit of food again. It's gonna
Starve.
starve to death.
Not to mention, those hooks probably felt like hell when they were coming out.
Can you imagine something ripping through your cheek like that?
Well,
Another
I said I
thing, I
don't
just
really know.
came back from up north
Like,
recently.
how much feeling fish
And
have.
this was just
Come
amazing.
on.
No, as in, like, they might not
hadn't
have
seen it before up
as
there.
much.
And here was all those
I don't know what the
mangrove
word is.
jacks.
Whatever, they
standing
might
on
not
their
feel it
head
as much.
With their tails.
It's the same way that, like,
Sensation. Not as much sensation in
It
their
was right at
jowls.
the
yeah,
top
it's
of
the
the
thing where it's
draw.
like, you know, if you get
And
a needle
anyway,
in your
I
arm
said to Frank, "Bugger
or
this,
in your
I don't
butt, like
care
one's
whether
going to
I
hurt
get
more
it
than
or
the other,
not. I've
right?
never done anything like this, so you could put your hands down under them and lift them up, and just as you got them up the top of the water, they just roll back out of your hands like that back into the water.
Oh,
And there was a barra, the jacks, and an estuary cod.
All stand on their heads.
these guys are up a river somewhere.
That's the sort of things you see when you're out here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see some funny things.
Yeah.
Oh, you do that.
Yeah, that reminds me, I was up here some time ago,
Oh, yeah.
fishing with a fellow, and we're standing on the rocks in some nice water, casting way out. Like,
Yeah.
you always tend to cast out even when they're under your feet.
Yeah.
And he's chewing on an apple, and he just dropped the core at his feet, and there was a boil and a splush, and something come and ate the apple. The apple core.
Was it a
So I reckon we had the wrong
Bunyip?
lures on.
Oh my, I can't believe it. That's hilarious.
Should have cast out the apple, eh?
Funniest bloody story I've ever heard. I
Oh,
reckon.
black cockatoos, they're cool. There's the kingfishers.
Man,
Look at the socks. I want to
whoever-
wear the socks.
Whoever edited this has no idea how to edit transitions.
No, do I. Huh.
with cod, they're very unusual the way they feed.
This is from like the Melbourne
They
Zoo
can
or
just
something,
suck the
right?
food in. Sometimes you'll hear a big cod
Or
take
the aquarium.
a mouse off the top of the water, or a lizard or a frog, and it's just like a rifle going off. It's just a suck in type of method that they use.
Yeah.
And,
you can say the
other
same
times
thing about my wife,
they just
huh?
hit it that hard that it'll just explode and there's water going everywhere. I don't know what it really is, but it almost, they give you the impression that they want to
love
take
these
it,
booties.
but they're frightened to, so they rush up and grab it and shake the daylights
Every
out
now
of
and
it.
then I see workers while I'm out on my
Rush
run, and
away
they've
and
got the
then
same
spin around and
kind
look
of,
at
like,
it and see what
shoe
they've done.
protectors so you don't get gravel in your shoes. I'm like,
if it's dead or
I'm sure they're
just
very
stunned in the
helpful,
water, then they'll come
but
back
they
and
look
take it.
so dumb.
You never know which way they're going to do it, which makes them really exciting.
We had so many people in
You wanna
our
learn
chat
about
until
fish?
they realised that we're just watching fishing all day.
Hoot says she wants to learn about fish.
Oh, that's okay. This has still got an hour left on it. It's fine.
Eel-tailed catfish. I've seen.
But you missed the Squidgy
cod up to, say,
Secrets.
25 pound.
Oh, the
Just
Squidgy
grab a
Secrets.
6-pound cod on a lure and kill it. Just inhale it with just its head sticking
You won't have
out.
internet at home?
Shake the daylights out of it.
Your
and
home
just
internet
blow
out.
it back out of its mouth and it's
Oh,
dead.
Poots. We have to work out like
That's
a
the
good
type of
time
food
for
they
you to
eat, little
zoom in.
water
We'll do
hens,
one of those craft
lizards,
shows with you on.
snakes,
Yeah, we'll do
mice,
that.
rats.
That sounds like
We'll
fun
do an
to me.
episode
Anything that
featuring
even
Poots.
dares to swim
I want a
across
Poots
the
episode.
river
We've
system
got
while
that
there's
whole
cod
TV
underneath and it's
series
got problems.
about quilting.
Yeah. And baskets.
Basket. Oh, you got the baskets one too. Yeah, that seems like fun. We also have. Actually, no. I think the one that Poots would probably want to sit in on is the what's her name? Who does the
Oh, yes.
cool stamping?
Dropping.
It's like, ooh, it's so fun.
Oh,
I love that. We've got 2 of those.
We should,
You'll come back.
when we do whatever art episode we do, we should make sure, like, tell Poots what to get as well, and then she can play along at home as well.
I'd love to zoom more people in on shows. I think it'd be fun. It's a lot of setup, I know, but
Workout video,
Pete's in the middle of moving, so it might actually be closer to when I said than when
no,
you said.
it's not this coming Monday, but the Monday after.
Oh yeah?
Oh, I'm on, Kev.
But you're not moved yet.
Got him.
So,
We're gonna stomp around some boxes.
just
It
move
looks
the
like good
boxes.
fish.
Huh? What are we gonna do for our first episode?
Yeah.
I haven't
What
decided
level
yet.
is
Okay.
So that'll be a
Oh,
Sunday
one of those
for
ones
you, I
that's
want
come
to
back
say.
you.
Yeah.
It's Monday morning.
Good on you, mate.
Hey?
30 bits! I'll have to add that to the list. Thank you, Poots.
Hey, you got paid for some fishies.
That's, yeah, each one of those represents a fish that
One
was thrown
fish
back.
that we caught and kissed and thrown back.
Well, in the first one they didn't, right?
No, but he was the one who worked with Rex Hunt. We saw our first kiss in
Well, I
something
think it's
not
the
Rex
photo,
Hunt related. It's weird.
You're a really big girl. Just watch your leg with a hook.
That puts us on 50. You're moving that day? Oh no!
Where are you moving? What are you moving?
They're moving house too.
Oh, you're all gonna move house together. You're gonna move in together, like quantumly, like one of those spooky linked things where it's if one
Oh, she's a nice little fish,
positron
Kev.
moves left, the other one moves right. I'm talking quantum
So the-
theory.
I hope not, because that means if something goes right for one of us,
It's gonna go wrong for
Just
the
pick them
other.
off with your finger.
That's the law of
I don't want that to happen.
spooky physics. Of
I don't want spooky physics. I want normal, everything's gonna be
The
okay.
bottom of them, they get into the flesh and just
moving
anchor
to your
themselves
new
there.
coin.
Well,
Man,
come
that
September,
must be really cool.
she'll be right,
You're
she's
moving
born.
into somewhere you've
And
bought or
lots
just a
of
new
new little
rental?
blokes
Or...
in the river, eh?
Yeah, that fish will produce around about probably 8 to 10,000 eggs.
That many, eh?
Yeah, she's a beautiful fish.
5
7 or 8
years.
pound in weight.
Sam always gets angry at me when I say,
That's
I hope your
fantastic,
parents
isn't
die soon.
Yeah.
I don't actually want them to die, but I kind of want them to leave the house in the will sort of thing and let us like pay it off. Because like the first thing that we're going to do is take our little battery powered sander, sand
It's
everything
nice
that
to
is
fish by
wood coloured
yourself,
and
it's
paint it
terrific
black.
and you learn a lot about it. But it's nice to share the good times with other people,
Everything
with mates.
Everything
It's
black,
a really
all
good
the
aspect of
trimmings.
We're there
all
for the
First
same purpose.
home.
We all see
Things.
things in different
The good
ways.
news is you can't
But
be
that makes
evicted
it
by a
very good
landlord.
Sitting around a crackling fire at
Now,
night
let's
after
see
a
how
good
many
day's
guesses
fishing
I'm going to
and
have to guess
anticipating
before I
the next
remember
day's
where they're
fishing.
living. Oregon?
No,
Ohio?
no,
Is it an O?
no. There is
Oh.
no in it. fact
Yeah,
there's
man.
a couple.
There's that Bondi.
I
you
thought
might
I
see
remembered
those people
something I didn't. Okay,
for
give
a
me the
couple
first
of
letter
years,
again.
but when you see them, it's g'day, how you going?
Gandhi.
And that's what sports fishing does. Builds up
Colorado,
great
yeah,
South
relationship
Park.
and companionship.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got
It's
it.
what
South
we
Park.
do. It's what we share together.
Colorado
It took you
State.
longer
What
this
we
time.
get out of it.
It did.
What we give to
Oh
one
come on!
another.
That's because I thought there was an O. It started with an O.
Both of your families cause you too much stress?
Every family causes stress. That's what
Not
happens
mine.
with families.
I guess there was that
Your
one
family
thing later.
causes me stress.
Why?
Because your mom keeps hitting on me and I keep saying no. I love your dad too much.
Maybe he's okay with it.
Maybe, but I'm not going to take that chance until he says so. Because I respect
Then
him.
ask him.
Alright, I'll ask him.
Well, that's not my problem. This is why people stopped trying to make fun of me and stuff in high school.
Why?
Because I just never cared.
What do you mean?
I making your mum jokes like that and stuff
What
like
do you mean
that.
jokes?
It's,
I don't
it's
understand.
It's the whole thing is just I've always responded to it in kind of the same way. Like if it's funny.
Every time your mum or your dad sees me, they always stop and chat. As if they
That's
don't have
what you
things
think is someone
Jeremy
hitting on
Sheen
you
wanted a
though.
newcomer to freshwater fishing.
You might be an
He's chased
incel.
trout in Tasmania, known fish in Hawaii.
You're not allowed to say that! You're not allowed to say that!
Those in Kingfisher
Stop!
country.
No, I'm not allowed to insult people with the word. I said you might
Rod
be.
led Jeremy west of the range to rivers of
They
legendary
just cray
Murray
cray. Yeah.
cousin
Stories
East
family's
Voodoo.
fine as well.
In time gone by,
So I think that's the
Yeah.
thing that we lucked out on. Is that
I
we
like
don't
mum
really
and
have-
law. I don't like the sausage rolls as much as anybody else, but I like mum and law.
century old.
We don't have.
They're
Today,
delicious, but
they're
at the same
fewer and
time they're
smaller.
boring.
But for Jeremy,
It's one of those
size and
borings
number
where you
didn't
kind of
matter.
want to shove your face full of them
His
anyway.
quest for his first Murray
Which is
cod
good.
was all
It's a
new
good
experience.
I like when she makes me chicken palmies.
She makes chicky palmies. Does she beat the chicken herself, or does she get one of those love heart things from the Safeways? Don't know. Who cares? It's cheese on
Delicious.
chicken. It's delicious. No, I agree. I constantly roasting up chickens at the moment. I'm
My
pretty
whole thing
chicken
is
obsessed.
with food is if it tastes good, I don't care. Unless it gives me food poisoning.
Talking about that, did you eat the bucket I sent over?
I've been sick.
So you haven't. Okay.
I've been sick the whole time.
Just ask Ken. I don't know when I brought it over. I don't remember
The
what
same
happened.
day.
Ah.
It was the same
That's alright.
day.
It's pretty good cooked. It's kangaroo meat. It's gonna last because most of it was minced. It had mince in it, it had sausage in it, and it had steak in it.
Yeah.
It's a full chili, but it's got this weird flavor. I like it, but I don't know what to make of it. I'm probably gonna eat it today, honestly. But yeah, it'll last because it's been cooked in the shine house. It'll last for another like week before you
Up here
can
they use
start
a
filling
set line,
more. I think
which
it
is
might
just a
have
hand
more.
line with a big piece of bait on it, a crayfish or
It'll be fine,
a
it'll be
live
fine.
fish.
You want to put it on some
No skill
spirals or
involved
some
in it,
shells,
sit
right?
back and have a
Have
few
the
beers.
fruity
Poor old fish
spicy
is dead
pasta
and
again.
drowned, so it's not really a sporting
See
I
problem.
how
don't
it
think
goes.
it's that kind of thing.
No? Okay. It's got a lot of...
It tastes different.
It does taste different, but it's got
Murray
quite
cod
a
are one
lot
of the
of
largest freshwater fish in the world, and we're lucky enough to be in the
Chilies.
country that they live in.
Yeah, I
and they're
can
not
taste
in the
that.
numbers they
Not
once
like
were.
chili as in, oh, put too much
But in
chili, but
days
like
gone by,
actual,
they
I
were-
went to
they were
the
very
fruit shack and they had this
For 50,000
bag
years, the
of,
Aboriginals
like, leftover
hunted the cod. They were
chilies that were
fine
starting to
food
go
source.
bad, so I
There
chopped
it
them
is.
all
So
up,
they were
and I
a
just put them all in the
mythological
pot.
creature in their dream time.
That's delicious.
Most
It's just
animals
weird
were.
because the
There's a
the
story
capsicums
or
made this
legend from the
weird
dream time.
floral
This
smell.
large fish, which was eating everything, women
Cod
and children
from
and
the dream
tribes,
time?
was speared, chopped up into pieces and thrown in, and that the other species became part of that, the silver perch and golden perch. With the arrival
I
of
used to have
white
perch
man,
as pets.
the distribution
Used
and
to
numbers
grow
of
in
cod
Caddis
changed
Creek.
dramatically. You know, one in 1883, 147,000 kilos arrived at the Melbourne fish markets in a week. You know, and in going back, 60
I've
years
been
earlier
there.
than that, when
It
the
made
rivers
me
were just
sick.
being discovered by John Oxley,
Would do the same
he
to
caught
me,
18
honestly.
fish in half an hour. Hotels on the rivers, if someone
need
ordered
to say
a
that I like
fish
the
for
word
dinner
dream
or lunch
time.
or whatever, they'd go
We can
down
do
and
a dream
catch
time
one and
special.
have it on the
I have a
table within
couple
20
videos.
minutes, half an hour. They
If
didn't
you
I
want to
like
get
the
some
word
for
dream
example,
time a
it's a
lot
river.
because
Also,
it's-
railway workers, when they wanted to feed
it's
fish,
sort of paints
plug of
history
dynamite
in a
and
way.
get all the fish they needed.
Do you think
and
we could
probably
get
more
away
than
with
they
watching
didn't
Dot and the
need. The ones they
Bunny
didn't
on
want were
movie
thrown
time?
I
to the
have
pigs
no
or
idea.
just left for
That
the
movie. Oh.
Did you know that there are
These
no
days,
canaries on
they're
Canary
making
Island?
a comeback.
Same thing
And
applies
they're
to the Virgin
viewed
Islands.
as
There are no
another,
canaries there either.
Yeah, and there's no
species that you
canaries
look
on
after,
Kangaroo
particularly
Island,
by
but
keen
there are
sports
a
fishers who
specific
usually
breed
don't
of
even keep them.
kangaroo
They catch them, get
that
a
are so
photograph,
fearless of
release
humans
them.
that you can
In
cuddle
just
them.
recent times, there's
And
been
whenever
3
you
fish
get
that I know about,
meetups
well over
in
100 pound
Australia
caught and released.
by the
So I
bigger
think the future
zoos,
can be
when
really
you
good
like
for
want
the
to
Murray
go
cod. Just
cuddle a
if
kangaroo,
we just look
it is
after them,
always
we
an
just think about
imported
what we're doing
Kangaroo
when we're out
Island
there.
kangaroo. But when you go to the lower zoos, like all the we're just here for the trying to keep some animals happy sort of thing, not the big touristy ones, they will give you a bag full of shite to hand out to like any creature. So you feed the swamp wallabies, you feed the cassowaries, which is scary as shit. You feed the emus, which if you don't like birds, that's scary as shit. But then when you go feed the kangaroos, you're used to the friendly, cuddly, soft Kangaroo Island kangaroos. But no, these are reds. And these reds are taller than I am.
Oh, they're
and they've got these muscles. And they're like, hey, give me what you got. And like, it's exactly. Yes, sir. Take it. I've got a couple of photos of me with like some big guys going like this at me. And I'm like, okay. It's fun. But at the same time, I can understand. Okay, so last time I went out to one of those places, there was an Asian tourist family there, and they're like, "Can you help us feed the kangaroos?" And I'm like, "Sure." And so apparently somewhere out there are photos of me and this Asian tourist family playing with kangaroos, because they took all the photos while we were doing it, and I was helping them feed it and like saying, "It's okay. He looks big and scary, but ultimately he will just eat out of your hand." And the girl one had like the joey coming out. You could feed the joey out of the pouch as well as the... Anyway. Yeah. No
But
canaries,
this is more interesting to talk about than this.
No
Honestly.
canaries, though. Absolutely no canaries.
Okay.
Thanks.
This is only
Yeah, I love going to those kind of like walkabout zoos where they just, for the most part, the animals are just there.
They're just
and
out.
just wander as well.
Yeah. I scratched a whole bunch of wombats. You know,
And the great thing about them is that because like they give you the buckets of food and stuff, the animals just know that's a bucket. There's food in that, and so you like. There's no like, oh, we might get up close with the kangaroos. No, you will.
No,
like,
yeah.
100%, it will absolutely
We had,
guarantee happen, unless for some reason they're like, all of them are sick that day. Like,
when we went out to the one out near Chris's house, I had a whole bunch of spare like pellet bags because I wanted to feed everything. I wanted to love all the animals. The emus, they knew what pockets were.
Yeah, they know.
And they were going through my pockets. So I got pictures of me. It makes me look like I'm from a Tom Waits video. God's away on business. Business.
There's these guys that opened up like they bought a farmhouse, like an old like 1800s farmhouse, and they were like, what the hell do we do with this now that we bought it?
Yeah.
And so they turned it into an 1800s farm, where you can like go there, and it's basically the same thing except farm animals like goats and stuff, and you just go and you cuddle and feed the goats.
Goats. And you got this
Except that one goat
and they
that was
fall
like
over.
an asshole.
A lot of goats are. They will bite.
No, most of them apparently were fine, but there was one that was like
Was that
trying
like
to seriously.
local? Because I know that there's a petting
It's
zoo kind of
towards the border of South Australia.
yeah, so Horsham.
We went there
Horshamish.
Anyway, you have a go at that.
a few years ago now.
It's not a big fish.
We haven't really gone anywhere in ages.
You've got a baby there. You're not going anywhere for
Not
more
going
ages.
anywhere for a while.
That's why they can.
I mean, we have already talked about like the idea of ever going on a holiday again. It's just like
the second one I've ever
I
seen.
have to wait. I'm not doing it while he's a baby. If he's at an age where he will not remember it,
There's
like
no
we
point.
show him photos and he will be like, no, I remember this.
No point.
Then there's no fucking point whatsoever. It has to be
I actually
once he's
get-
old enough to really benefit from it, then we'll take him.
Yeah, I actually get kind of annoyed at parents hanging out with their babies that are crying at the zoos. It's like, what's the point?
I
Go
would
for a
I would
walk
go to the
around the
zoo with
block.
Jackson. I would go to the zoo actually, just because I want to go to the goddamn zoo.
Because that's the thing. Like they're trying to say that it's for the kid, but
Oh,
it's
God,
not.
no.
It's absolutely not. It's
This kid's
for
not
you.
going to remember it at all. I mean,
Wow, look at that.
but like the difference between like going on a holiday and going to the zoo is, like, if you take a 2-year-old to
You're holding
the zoo,
up there, Jeremy. I can get a
they'll be like, oh, animals, and they will be having a good time.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah,
that
really
doesn't,
jealous of this.
you know,
Okay,
you're
big
still going because
smile.
you want to see the animals. But if you go on holiday,
Great, thanks a lot.
for the kid it's just like we're somewhere and I don't know where we
Get him
are.
in the water, Jeremy.
We may as well be at
most
home.
of those kids between the age of 2 and 6 would quite happily just go down to the play park.
Sure, but also like the idea of seeing an animal is going to be like, oh, look, I haven't seen a hippo before. There's a hippo.
Now, if you lived in Tasmania, their botanical gardens had the monkeys.
Oh, well, let's go and get another
Oh,
one.
no.
For free.
That's how you get your shit nicked.
Yeah, I
But
get
they
a real
don't-
pleasure
no,
out
no,
of
they're in a
taking people
container.
out,
Oh,
particularly
okay.
if they haven't fished
can
before,
feed them,
and,
but, like,
and then
they're
they
not
catch
allowed
their
out.
fish to
What's
see
this,
the
like,
elation and
fuck that.
jubilation and
Stealing
their
everything, dude.
faces.
Yeah, but when they
They're
don't
as
actually
happy
steal,
as
they
anything
buy
for
them.
catching their fish. And
Wait.
That's
to
an
me, I get a
interesting
nice
thing
warm
about
glow
those
without,
particular monkeys.
you know,
What
without
is it?
showing
The
it, but it's there.
but no,
just
that's
seeing
not
new
bonobos.
people
They're the
catch
ones who
fish.
have sex.
They get a
What-
good
what are they?
respect for the fish, and
it's cool.
it's
Ben,
good for the future.
Starts with the B.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
sure.
Jeremy, it's really good if he can
But
catch
anyway,
the fish and see
they,
the beauty of it. He's
They
picked it
barter
up,
with
he's
you.
looked
They
at all
take
the
your
colours,
glasses
he's
and
felt
say,
that he's been
"Can I
very,
please
very
have a
close to
muesli
it.
bar?" You give them a
Rather
muesli bar,
than
they
just
give you your
catching
glasses
something
back.
as
It's
a food
really
source
interesting.
to throw in a wet bag and eat.
That's
Right,
become a
rather
thing.
than looking at it and getting a feel for it.
Well, no, they probably learned that's how it works from people being like, no, please, I really need my glasses. Just, I'll give you this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then eventually
It's
they're
a
like,
learned thing. But
if
it's a
we just
learned
take
thing.
all the glasses, all the wallets.
Yeah, it is a learned thing, absolutely. But it's been a learned thing for the last 30 to 40 years.
Yeah,
So
but I mean,
it's
it's
become
not like
part of their culture.
they're smart enough to teach. Is my point. Like,
Yeah, but not just teach, but like their kids
Much
have been
more than
taught
just
by
fishing.
them.
It's
not
looking
so
at
much
something
people.
that you've never seen.
no, yeah, that's what I mean. They teach
something
them.
of
They
beauty that
they
may have
learn
read
stuff
about,
from what
may
they
not have
see
read
and what
about,
they
may
do
not
and
know
what their
about.
parents have been
But to
through.
actually
It's like
catch
how
one
you know
yourself
if
and look at it
you
and see it in the water,
kick a magpie here.
and just look at it there and let it
It's
go.
kids
and
in
watch it.
3
kids
generations
and
time.
kids and
who
kids
will
and
tell you.
kids
Stamps
will
an
all know
indelible
your
print on
face
your
Yeah.
mind.
and know that you are someone who cannot be trusted.
It's a strange
It's a
phenomenon.
bizarre thing.
But yeah.
Jeremy will never forget his first couple of Murray cod, particularly his first.
No, I remember Murray now.
But it's his
Broken.
very first one. He's never fished one
Broken.
before, so he'll appreciate for the rest of his
Yeah,
life.
they're on the Murray. You ever been down to the Murray?
Sometimes. When I'm like old
I
and
burnt my
have
shoes.
nothing left to do in my life,
You gotta go to the Murray.
that's where I want to live. Not in like a chuka, but like somewhere quieter.
Not a chuka, but they've got that pub that everyone
busy.
likes.
I would rather go to a smaller country town where people don't go. Where like, if I go to the pub, I'll know every old face I see in there.
So the pub between here and Ballarat, that pub that we stopped at that one time, on my way to the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that pub. It's gone. I hope he doesn't have his mobile phone in his pocket.
What's the water like? I've got some soap back there if you need it.
Seems like a lot of effort for a fish fillet.
How'd you go, Jeremy? Oh, good actually. I got one. By myself.
You brought up palmies before, and now I'm thinking, do they ever make palmies out of fish fillets?
Any
Yeah.
size?
I've definitely seen pubs that do it.
I mean, I'd hate it, but it
It's
sounds
a
like
lot
an
more
interesting
expensive.
idea.
That's really good. Well done.
Yeah.
Fishy
There
palmies.
definitely is places that do that sort of thing.
And a wash. And a wash. Okay, good. Oh, that's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's great.
Oh yeah? Good, isn't it?
I reckon.
I mean, they got the money for some underwater cameras on this thing. Stop!
There
Don't
is
do that
fish as prey and the hunter. It's a deep connection. It goes a lot deeper than what a lot of people think. There's two ways to look at it, whether it's having a struggling fish that you're causing
I
pain
was
to,
gonna make a joke
or
about
whether
his red
you're
hat.
catching the fish
Say that he
and
predicted
treating it
Trump.
in a humane, respectful
Predicted or
way.
just
But then on the other hand, I've seen
Well, I mean, this is from
a
2000.
large cod scoff down a catfish which has got venomous spines.
But
and
So,
swim away and
at
take
this
a
point,
look. So
it
and I
was
think
like,
as humans, we
at
can't
most
put
something
our
that had
emotions
been
and feelings
a joke.
onto fish that live in a
Not a
completely
thing that had,
different
a joke that
environment.
actually happened.
But
I guess.
nature is built on
There was no Make America Great Again in
and
2000.
no more.
Which
And nature is
caused
not
the
all sweet
whole
and cuddly.
world
Nature's pretty harsh.
crying.
You know, I've seen
Yeah.
white-breasted sea eagles rip the entrails out of a
That
turtle
pretty
on
much
the
sums
rock
up
while
the
it's
whole Donald
on its
Trump
back
thing.
struggling. Like that would be
You see the
incredibly
latest
painful.
in that
But it's
kind of
not for me
debacle
to intervene
about
in
how
that. It's
people
just
are
part
saying,
of the cycle of
oh, you
nature.
can't trial him
Part
because
of
he's
it.
the president.
We shouldn't forget
And
that.
now that he's not anymore, it's like you can't trial him because he's not the president anymore. Like, make up your mind.
Pretty sure we can.
Yeah.
Would be the thing, like, they're going to.
Impeach! Impeach you! Oh, double bar.
All it's really going to do is stop him from running again, unfortunately. He's not going to go to jail or anything like that.
Yeah. I'd like to see the death penalty brought back.
They have it in some states there.
Let's trial him, man.
Call it Texas.
It's always Texas. What are you doing, Hawk? Leave that little bouncing jelly alone. Look at that shot. There's a kingfisher. Are kingfishers even Australian?
I think so.
There's some catfish, and I saw a platypus. A little twiddle. I like twiddle.
Hey, it's a turtle!
Am I not twiddly enough for your twiddle club? But that's, I don't know what that is, but there's a cod down there somewhere. There's a yabby. Oh yeah, that's a perch. Let's tell the perch. Suck up that little, did you see that little wormy worm? That's cute. Many times in my life I have been into the water after a prize fishing lure. It's a thing. Until someone made a great thing called the tackle back, which you put onto your line and slides down, hooks onto the lure,
Onto the stuck lure.
and you drag it back out. I have no idea what that sentence means,
But
but
nothing that you just said made any sense.
we're
to me,
just
Bearded
watching a
Bushman.
video.
I'm sorry.
But hey, Beardy! I know
Welcome.
who you are. Welcome to our show. We watch VHS, and
Today it's the fishing
and
episode.
we know who you are because you have a funny looking hat and a big old beard. And I love you.
Were you in the previous tape? Was he in the previous
He
tape?
must have been in the previous.
Was that him?
He was talking about the Squidgy Secrets. No, he's not from Australia. But he was talking about the Squidgies. He knows what Squidgies is. We are not fishermen, absolutely,
No, absolutely not.
But I do have quite a lot. You had the video!
Damn!
Damn! You had the Australian Squidgy. This is part 2, by the way. Part 2 Beyond the Basics. Did you have 1 and 2, or just part 2?
Or did you have all 4 parts on DVD?
So yeah, there's a DVD version where it's got 4 different parts. You had the whole series! We were just watching it for a laugh.
Are Squidgy's actually good?
I've got.
If
quite
you're
a lot
someone who
somewhere.
actually goes fishing, you might know the answer.
Yeah,
Are they
because,
actually good?
Yeah, fish are visual based, so they will go after the bright colours and all the glitters. Did you ever catch a Gary Glitter? Are you a lure fisherman? Man, that's cool. I mean, if you said you were a fly fisherman, I'd have a little bit more respect, because fly fishermen are like that little bit above lure, I think. I think the top level of fishermen are those people that strap themselves.
I think I'm starting to understand what he said before, by the way.
I don't. But you do fly fishing too? Nice. I like fly fishing. I think that's an interesting looking thing.
Yeah, that looks way more interesting than this.
But I think the top level of
Rob and
fishermen
Peter
to me are
Sullivan
the
spent
people
many
that
good
strap
times on the
themselves
river
into the
together.
chair, so when they catch a giant shark, they don't get sucked into the ocean.
Fishing a rugged
Like,
gorge
come on.
country,
If
capsized
your
canoes on a
little
flooded
clips
river,
fail and you get
salvation
sucked
in a
in,
high
you're
country
getting
hut.
eaten by a shark.
Real adventures.
That's
In fact, too many to
hardcore.
remember. There were quiet times
Why
too,
can't we have that tape?
when both soaked up
We
the
do.
ambience
I
and
just didn't
serenity,
pick it this week.
the
Motherfucker.
beauty of their surroundings.
Hey,
Between them, a bond of mateship and
It's
friendly
It's just
rivalry
not
had
for
been
not being
forged.
sucked into the ocean.
Whose was the
oh
best
come on,
story?
yeah it is.
The most challenging tool?
What's it
or
for
spirited
then?
fish? The Clarence brought out the best in them.
It's being.
It sounds like it would-
being something.
It's going near enough. I don't want
It seems like it would be so like if the wind picks up and it gets stormy.
Don't worry, I'm watching it.
Oh, just bracing yourself for the lengthy fight.
High pitch screen.
Yeah, when they catch.
See, now we have someone knowledgeable here who actually knows everything. We can like.
What's the what is the fish's name called? Is it mackerel or marlow or whatever? The finfish. What's a finfish called?
Finfish?
Marlin. Thank you, Beardy. He's where I am. That's
I don't
Marlin are
fish.
cool. Sure, but okay, so you don't fish, but you do eat potato chips, right?
Sure.
Every single chippy that we go into in Australia has a freaking marlin on the wall. Like that's like the ultimate thing that you could order, even though they don't sell it. They've always got a marlin on the wall.
Spider.
He's just very resourceful.
It's an Australian spider. But yeah, every single chippy that we go into has a marlin on the wall. It's not real. It's made of plastic, but they have one. And if it's not that, then it's a big old red snapper.
That's alright, he's a bass.
Okay.
I pay attention, I used to fish. I don't like it, but I used to.
Yeah, I got no idea.
I like that,
as I think, was it Craig who said it before? It's just an excuse to go out and have some beers. And...
for a lot of people it is an excuse to go out and have some beers, but I feel like with Beardy that he knows the craft.
Well, clearly he knows the craft.
Yeah, man.
It's one of those sort of hobbies that if you're into it, you're into it.
Okay, so one of the best...
Actually, I will also say, if we had someone around like Bearded Bushman, it would be fun to go fishing with him.
So they could, like, talk to us about all the shite, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not catching anything. You know what I mean? I'm not catching anything, but he would, and I'd be like, yeah, good stuff, I'm gonna keep drinking my beer, and I'd be interested in watching him, like... Do the fishing. Well, I don't.
Talking about the fishing, about what I used to do when I was a kid. We have a bay here. Where we live is a bayside town. We can go out into the bay anytime. We can catch stuff. If we catch stuff close to the shore, there's a thing called a grass whiting, which is a green whiting. Apparently they taste kind of vegetal. But if we go out into the bay itself, we've got flathead, we've got whiting. And there's probably something else. I don't know. But that's what I remember used to be catching. But my favourite time that I ever went fishing was we would go down to like the local farms because again where we live there's a whole bunch of farmland where they build their own beaches. And we would
there's an undercurrent there of friendly
that's a big flathead.
But at the end of the day, we
they bite, by the way. They've got poisons. They've got poison spikes because of the flathead. So I used to go out and we used to climb through these private areas, this fence land, and go into these private creeks that they used to use for the cows, right?
They don't have poison.
Yeah, they do. Shut up. They bit me. Okay, maybe they don't. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Something does. I don't know. But I used to catch blackfish. And blackfish was this species of fish that would only bite at night. And the reason I liked fishing it was one, I didn't have to wake up at 6 in the morning and drink coffee on my rice bubbles. So that's what I used to do when I went fishing on the bay. And two, after we finished and we went for a weigh-in, the Bannockburns folks used to make these sausages that were this thick, and they boil them hamburgers, and they give you this bit of bread, and they put the sausage on it. The sausage is like 10 times the size of the bread. I'm just chewing on luderick. Is that what they're called? Never heard of them called luderick, but blackfish. They're leathery. Apparently they're not that great for eating, but like, we caught them, and I got trophies for it, so whatever. The biggest fish I've ever caught was a trench. I won an award for it.
Yeah, everyone be sitting around having a cup of coffee or a drink
McDonald's. Seagull Paddock.
And sort of go all quiet.
I like Seagull Paddock. I like the fact that we can go to a drive-thru
because it got all the
and park there and eat our stuff.
all the McDonald's.
Then all of a sudden
Trench. Yeah, trench. Bottom feeder, but it was huge.
Another half-hour session on the water. This went on for about 4 or 5
I won an
hours.
award for it because everybody was catching the stocked rainbow trout. They stocked the place with rainbow trout, but because they were stocked, they were all like youngins, so they didn't weigh in as much as my trench.
It's a way to do it though when you think about
it. Did he get any of that from on the airbed?
I think he had one on and he couldn't get out of his sleep.
all these names of fish are just like, yeah, I bet it has fins.
It
and
does.
It swims.
Dedication. Whoa, dedication.
tench. It's called a tench. No? Oh no! Man, I should just scan in my, I still have the newspaper clipping of me winning with it, so I could just scan in that. I remember it specifically because I was wearing this stupid hat that my grandmother made me wear so that I didn't get burnt. And I'm like, hold on, before you take the photo that you're going to put in the paper, let me put it on backwards because that'll make me cool.
That's where it's at.
That's where it's at. Because the back to front isn't where it's at.
Wiggity wiggity whack.
Wiggity wiggity whack. Australian fishing with Australian snappers and Australian eels and rainbow trouts. Oh no.
Yeah.
That's bait. Why are you cooking that up? Little perchy perches
There
or
you go,
something.
Rob. Brought your breakfast and cooked it too, mate. Excellent.
Excellent.
They look too small to be caught, to be honest.
What colour do you reckon?
Who was catching them just before?
Oh, definitely the white.
Yeah, I mean, like, they probably should have kissed them and thrown them back and said, I'll catch you again later.
Jeez, I'm not a guts.
It depends, but yes.
You've got to
I'm
come.
sure they know the laws and they wouldn't have filmed if it was illegal.
I'll just send you out there to get a few more, mate.
I'm sure it's one of those things where the law changes over time as well.
Probably.
I also like how plates are always bright coloured when you're not at home.
In this modern world we live in,
For some
I think
reason.
we've lost that hunter instinct, whereas thousands of years ago, human species needed that to survive. And fishing is just modern day fishing with all the tackle we've got now.
Tench, it's
There's
not
just
a
a
native,
fragment
it's
of that
it's
left.
something that's everywhere as
It's
well.
still there, that it's that hunter
Big old
gatherer
bottom
instinct,
feeder
not a hunter
thing.
instinct of getting
Apparently
the
we
fish.
weren't
The same
allowed to cook it
adrenaline,
up
the same
and eat it because it would
feelings,
taste like
the
dirt.
same
Not that I eat fish anyway.
thoroughness of
Yeah, I don't eat
looking
fish.
at for signs, wondering
That's,
where the
that,
fish
that's
are,
another
just
reason
watching,
why it
because
is
in the old days,
so
that
not a
was the
main
difference
hobby. Is
between
because
Because we
eating
don't
and
eat
not
I have
eating,
nothing to
survival
gain from
or
it,
death.
like at all.
Whereas
Fish
we've
makes
sort of
me
come
feel
miles
kind of
from
ill.
that in
It's
this
funny
day
though
and age,
because
but
both
those
of us will
skills are
not
still
eat
there, and they're
any
still important.
Seafood.
Oh, in a cup, you.
any seafood, but we will both eat prawn crackers.
That's about it.
That's about it. Another imported piece of crap. Oh man. Yep, got stuck in our waterways behind McDonald's then. That sucks. But yeah. It's kind of like how whenever I used to catch carp, we had to beat it over the head.
Yeah, you're not allowed to put them back.
You're not
That's
allowed to
one
put
thing
it
I
back.
do know. If you catch a carp, you are not allowed to put that motherfucker back in there.
But the funny thing about carp is down in Cowie's Creek, they didn't just come in the silver variety. They had like full goldfish. They had white ones. They had blue ones. I saw a black carp with a blue mohawk once.
That's kind of cool.
It is. Like they come in all sorts of cool colors. Like I'm sure they destroy the waterways or
big
whatever,
time.
but they
They're
look
a big
cool.
problem.
They look cool though. I mean, can we pretend that they're not carp and call them koi? Does that work?
If you wanna, but I mean, it doesn't make them any less damaging.
Yeah, I suppose. Not like Cowie's Creek is a real, what do you call it, protected waterway in any way. It was man-made in the first
Sometimes
place.
idiots empty their fish tanks into rivers thinking they're freeing their fish. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought so, yeah. I do recall it, like, that being one of the few... Because I used to have to sell fishing licenses at my work.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things that was always, like, pointed out. There was, like, little booklets and stuff they could buy. And when I used to get bored at work, because I wasn't allowed to do anything fun, I would just read all the booklets and stuff under the counters. And one of them was going on about how carps are disgusting and they need to be...
They're not
cannot
good
be
to
put-
eat. It's another one
They're
of
not good
those
for anything. They're
tasting
like
mud
literally
things.
fucking useless. In fact, they're just literally a terrible creature to have here.
Mm. That seems to be a big thing in Australia, is we have a lot of invasive whatevers.
Yeah, that's because of when we were settled on.
We shot a bunch of people and then
Yeah, we showed up here, killed a bunch of people,
Introduced
and then
rabbits, foxes,
introduced
and
foxes and
carp.
stuff, yeah, and just fucked up the environment.
Hooray!
Europeans rule, dude.
European on my back.
And then eventually, you know, America happened, right? Well, America happened before, right? Was America before? Yeah, America happened before. And they're like, even like, more frustrating people than...
I don't know, but I found out something interesting the other day. Did you know that Pocahontas is actually buried in England?
Yeah, I think you told me that.
They took her back. Why would they do that? They abducted her and took her to England where she got sick and died. What a bunch of jets.
It's alright, Phil Emanuel's soundtrack makes it all better.
Tommy has got nothing on his little brother. Come on, this is perfect. Wow, wow. Someone bought him a slide for his guitar.
That's the crazy thing, right? So much of the stuff we have here is, like, exclusively from here.
And a lot of it's under threat. Well, the koalas have chlamydia, or the devils have got...
They told me that before I fucked it!
All the devils have cancer noses.
I think mateship could be well linked to those hunter
All
and
the
gathering
cassowaries
days
are going
where
to rip
the
your
whole
guts out.
tribe to hunt and reap the rewards, share the spoils.
I was so
Today
scared,
there's probably
and then I
only
fed
a
them by
thin
hand,
thread
and
of
I'm
it, but I
like,
think
"You're
that is the thread that forms the mateship. It was important for the tribes to hunt together and to protect the areas that they hunted. They didn't hunt the same area day after day, year after year. They
This
varied
video's
it
a bunch
around
of shit.
to protect the
What are
fish
they
that were there.
teaching us?
They
It's
respected
not
those
educational.
fish.
It's just
They were
them
certainly
going
a
on
food
holiday and
source,
claiming
but they
it.
This
saw
is
more
like...
Again.
That was
For your grandpa, this is the
continuation of the
equivalent of
tribe
going
in a
to,
lot
like,
of
going to
cases. So
the
they
video
looked
store
after
and
them.
renting a
They
movie.
took great care.
Like,
This
he would
is-
watch this and be like,
Fish
this is
were
deep
in one
and
area,
enjoyable.
they fished from
No,
it. They
no,
didn't-
he would put
they
it on
didn't
and
just
fall
take
asleep
the
like he
whole
does
lot
to the
and think, "Oh,
football.
we'll find some more tomorrow.
Then I
somewhere
guess
else."
it's a sporting event to
We've got
him.
lots
He's
of
watching it
you
for
could
the
learn.
adventure and the
You could
sport
learn a
side
lot
of it.
Constantly he puts on
orders.
things like tennis and stuff and he just doesn't even watch it, he just falls asleep.
So in a way, that communal mateship and team effort, it's our part in protecting,
communal
protecting the
mateship
fish
and
and
team
the
effort.
areas that they were. So we're doing our bit in the modern world. We're the, if you like, the modern tribe that's trying to
man.
look after that.
Where are you
component
based
of nature,
anyway,
which
Beardy?
you don't
Want
want
to go
to see
fishing
go.
one day? We hate it, and you could shine us the light.
I would not hate going fishing with someone who knew what they were doing. As I said before, if we actually went fishing with Beardy, I would probably have a very, very good time.
That's not far. Do you want to come down to the Murray?
Let's meet halfway.
We'll meet halfway. We'll come down to the Murray.
Baby to take
Nah,
care
we'll,
of.
we'll sort it out. Like in a year or two. Come down to the Murray, do some cod fishing.
in itself is quite an amazing.
Thing is, no, I probably wouldn't even enjoy that. It would just, I would rather just hang out with people. Is my point. And if we happened to be fishing while that was going on, that would be cool. You know what I mean?
Want a rapid entry?
I don't really have any interest in getting into the hobby, but the idea of just hanging out with someone who is like actively there and enjoying it. Because I like seeing people enjoy things.
I know, right? That's what pisses me off about pornography.
Brackish section of the river.
I'm only interested if they're enjoying
they might
it.
stay there for
And most of the time they're not.
Yeah,
any length of time.
that's quite generally
until
pretty
conditions
obvious.
come right for it, down in salinity.
Especially
and,
when fish are
temperature.
involved.
Yeah.
Then when everything's
That
right,
fish is
they'll
all like-
breed, do their spawn, larvae
back in
hatch,
the water.
etc., etc. And the mature fish, because they've been so taken up with the spawning and that, they possibly even forget to eat or just
It's mainly what you
sex
fish
urge
for.
takes
Bass?
over.
Good
So
for eating?
once they've spawned, they're usually
Yeah?
I don't know. I'm
worn
always
out,
questioning.
very poor condition.
I don't know.
and
Do
very,
you get
very
them from
hungry.
the strait?
But they have to start moving back
It was
upstream for their
ineffective.
summer haunts.
Aussie bass strait.
And consequently what you get is you get large numbers of mature fish in a ravenous condition that
How bad
as
would it
far
be
as
if we
first
deliberately went
impassable
fishing for carp and then had
barrier
to
in the
kill
river.
every single one of them?
So
Let's
and
film
there
it
they
for an
wait and
episode.
they eat everything in sight.
That would be a
until
great
it's
episode,
right in the river
honestly.
to put
That'd be
them over that
terrible, but
barrier
at the
and
same
they can-
time.
No, if we specifically went fishing to kill carp, it would be hilarious. Like
Because
we
it's
are
like they
literally
can't
doing.
get angry at us for being violent because
And
we
the river
have to
flows
kill
are
them.
down and they're confined to the first natural barrier.
The bass are good.
Their numbers are great, so
I'm
people
not
that
keen
don't know a
on
lot
the
about
idea of fishy flavor profiles. So
well, there's plenty of fish. You know, they're
explain
all
what
here.
bass
They come
would
back
be
day
similar
after day,
to.
good
Would it be
catching.
like a butterfish?
You know, we came
close
here
to
last week. We got
a
40. You know,
sharky.
we only got
Processing
20
the
this week.
fertilizer. At least they're doing some
They've
fucking
failed
good.
to realise that the
Oh,
pool
Blood
of
and
fish
Bone.
that are there probably
Yeah, we
spread
all know
out
about Blood
between
and Bone.
15, 20
They got
k's of
a
water.
contract with
Once
the
they're
vets.
above the barriers,
Get
natural
rid of all
and
those
man-made.
cats.
Good.
And once they're above there, that's when they become.
Put them to
that's when they
use.
become a
Do
real
it with my body when I
sport.
die. I
It's
don't
time
give a
to
shit.
fish for them once they're
When you
Put
die,
a bridge out of me.
your body's
they've
gonna
picked
be
up their protein and
gaffer-taped to the
food,
wall.
and they've got into real sporting shape. To catch them
Turn me into a
when they're
VHS tape.
in the pools, they don't fight too well. And,
And don't put anything on it.
No,
I'm just gonna haunt that
They
tape.
tire
I'm
very
not sure
quickly,
that's
you
how
know,
things work.
Shut up.
Yeah, effectively
Okay.
they're killing
I'm gonna
the
haunt it.
brood stock, which is
Yeah.
is vital for the
What a
species to stay on in these systems. So if that
Such
continues,
big walls
that's why
Other
and
non-oily
yes.
fish meat.
Non-oily, so
is
not like
you
a
know,
tuna.
it's doing a
Tuna's
little bit. It's
oily.
not going to stop all that, but you're doing your own bit because you're not killing the brood stock
I can't
in,
do
in
it.
that respect.
Can't
so
do it.
these fish
I
that are
think
fished
one
out of
day
pools, like
when
they're
I'm
not
like
catch and
40,
release
I might.
their dinner on the plate and brag at the pub stuff.
Brim.
I wouldn't like to see
Brim
the
or
numbers
oily?
drop
I
any
used to
lower
fish
than what
for
they
brim.
are at the moment, because since white colonisation of this
Music.
country,
It's making it seem so much
when they
more
had
serious
no
than it is.
pressure,
It's meant to be relaxing. I
virtually
think.
by
Relaxing?
comparison to what they
The whole
have
thing is
today.
How's
it's meant to be
relaxing
this,
when
it's
his
meant to
wife
be this
doesn't know where he
Rob.
is?
It's meant to be Rob Lockwood's adventure, like
Now, the
before the
water is just
season
alive
ends.
from stories and what I've read.
Okay.
I've seen them
Catch
decline
and
in
release.
Because they have to be huge,
the last
right?
25 years that I've sort of seriously fished them.
So it really is just like a hobby for you. You really do
Stage
just
where
want to go out and
I'm
like
alarmed about it. It's got me
and just have the time.
He is a
Just
well-known
fishing and-
Aussie lure maker, but he also went missing at one point. The
I
police
think
had
a
to find
totally
him, and they found him
closed
fishing
season during the breeding run would go
down
a
at
long way.
Oh,
Jindabyne.
sorry, I didn't make it to your fishing trip. I was too busy fishing.
I was too busy fishing at
With there's no
Jindabyne.
closed season
I mean,
on
I
fish
saw
at
a
the moment,
dead
so
lady,
there's absolutely
and
no
I just
protection
tied her
involved as
ankle
to
to
when
the
they're
tree
moving.
and thought I'd deal with it later.
So it doesn't
That's
take
Jindabyne.
genius to work
That's not
out
real,
if you
by the
keep
way. That
knocking
was
off your
a
brood stock year
based on
after
a
year,
story that happened
you know,
in
down the track, which is
America,
already
but they
happening now in
adapted
some
it
parts
for
of
the
country.
Australian audience.
You don't have large fish. They're just
Jindabyne.
memories
Seriously, you
that
should
Daniel
download and watch that
Grant
movie. It's
talks
good.
about. Or
Send
the
it
old
to me in a
bloke next
message
door
so I don't
mentions he
forget
used
that
to
it
go
exists.
bassable perch, they probably call them in those days, and
Because I'm
get
going to.
7 and 8 pounders on a regular basis. You know, a 7 or 8 pounder now.
I know that
That's
the
a trophy
music's meant
fish
to
for a
be
lifetime.
relaxing, but it makes me less interested in
But
what
with the
he's saying. 'Cause
education,
I'm like,
it's no good trying to educate your old backwoods redneck who's going to string the net across the hole and take everything out. You sure educate the younger generation and that. And teach
what?
them
This VHS is
appreciation.
from the early 80s?
No,
No, it said that it was...
in 2000.
It said that it was
Or
made in the
maybe
year
that's still what
2000.
they won't have when it
Copyright
grows, if it
2000.
goes.
Maybe that's just the copyright and the actual
Really,
shows from
I
the
think there's got to
80s.
be more
Could be.
policing
The
in
quality is way
waterways
too high for
like
80s.
Robert
though.
It is a
says.
little too high.
The old blokes don't
This is
like
this
it.
is
Well,
not 80s
you know,
quality.
usually
You
the
can
bloke
tell
doesn't
by
like
the
it.
gear they
Nothing
use.
wrong.
Maybe
Really?
they're just using
No.
old
Right
gear.
thing, fishing inspector.
They didn't
Like,
get...
I may not know anything about fishing gear, but I will say I am pretty reasonably good at like dating
Gone are
and
the days
certain
when VHS
styles
quality.
of tapes
Yeah.
based on
But,
the picture
the
quality.
old-timers we
This
talked about earlier.
is absolutely not 80s.
Their
So
history
they're
those
still
days,
using
it's
their
like
old...
going out
So
and,
they got
shooting
the...
water rats or trapping
rights do
platypus.
change.
You know, you just
But they
don't
got...
do it.
But I think it'd be more interesting to me that they got
If we want to eat fish,
the
fish
rights,
farming
they
in
got
future is
the
way
money
to
to
go.
make a video,
or take your
and
own
then
fish
they
stay within the
didn't
bag limit. And there's no
upgrade
problem.
any of their gear. They just
The
took
rivers
their
haven't
80s
increased
gear
in
out
size.
and filmed a video in the
People have
2000s.
increased
I think
and
that's
the fish
hilarious.
stocks have decreased, so
Maybe there was something in the
if
credits
you
that
want
told
to
us
sort
for
of
sure.
keep
But no,
it,
this
you have to go to
also
population growth.
having it at Big Pond on the back
You really
Yeah, it's
got to
got an
maintain
active
some
pond.
areas where,
is one of theirs.
where
So-
things can exist without all the pressures. that
Yeah,
we
if it's
put
got
Oh,
an
no,
email
maybe.
address,
in order to
then
let
it
the
can't
areas that we
be
do
from
put
the 80s
pressure
because
on
that didn't happen until
re-establish and
the
restock from somewhere
early
else.
to mid 90s.
Yeah, it has the cameraman cameraman's.
The cameraman.
Yes, the cameraman Phil Lomas. It's his contact details.
Oh my god, my brain! I know, right? It's got email addresses. It can't be from the 80s.
Maybe they're just using old gear. Maybe they're just like...
It could be.
Maybe they're just people who like to do it the old way.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like a...
Hard yakka!
Hard yakka. Who was that guy who played guitar? What's his brother? Mr.
For me,
Emmanuel.
sports
Shut
fishing
up!
is my
We're trying
escape
hard.
out of the modern world. It gets me in touch with the real world, as I like to
This is
call
what we do every week.
helps
We
me think about
pretend like we're informed and we're
experiences
not.
past and
Make no mistake about it, I am completely uncultured is what I would call myself. I would say I have no knowledge about, like...
Hey, we had Colin Buchanan on the show once.
Typically
We're pretty
Aussie
good,
things.
right?
It's true. It's true.
In this day and
But
age, we
hatred
don't
is.
have to hunt for survival. It's nice to be able to fish. To
Didn't
have
he say
those
this already?
Age-old skills, and if the need be, we could
Skills.
Age-old
survive.
skills.
It's good to have those skills and not lose them, and that's what sports fishing does.
No, it doesn't. I'm just being an idiot.
The most important thing for people
Just
to
admit that you
understand
enjoy
is
it and stop trying
the
to put a
time
reason to
to
it.
fish for species like bass and cod, when you should fish for them and when you shouldn't fish for them, and
It's not
particularly
because
with
you're going to
looking
catch
at the
babies
cod,
if you
they'll
go to fish at the wrong time of
pair
year.
up
Yeah.
through the winter months.
That's why they have
and they'll
like
spawn
shooting
around
season
about
and fishing
September
season and stuff. Yeah.
when the water
Okay.
temperatures are right. The females usually will start feeding straight after they spawn because they're very hungry, they've got rid of their eggs. The male takes over and looks after the eggs. So after the eggs have hatched and the male is protecting this little ball of codfish, and maybe 10,000 and maybe 20,000. If
Yeah,
you're
and
fishing
if we grab
for
a hold
those
of it,
fish and you catch
we
that
can
male,
turn that
because
into a
he's
lovely
very
dish.
aggressive, he's protecting these little babies. And anything that comes
they're
near him,
explaining
like
it to me,
catfish,
yeah.
mullet, eels, herring or anything, he'll dash out and
Herring.
chase them away from him. And they'll take the lure simply because it's in their territory and they don't want it there. If
You know
catch
why I
the-
really
catch
wanted to
the
watch
male
fish videos
and
today?
take him away from those little ones,
Just for the hell of
then
it.
all those other fish will move in and eat them. So what you've done, you've killed off 20,000 little cod.
Oh, not the
it's
little
the
cod.
supply of the river, but that's why we say don't fish from through those winter months, and why it's important to understand those species when you're fishing for them.
The message from below was loud and clear. There's a time to fish and a time not to. Rob heard their call and paddled towards the next season.
I guess that's the end of the video then, right?
There's a call from the wilderness to go out there and experience
Call
it,
from the
enjoy
wilderness.
it, take part in it.
Yeah, for
But then
this
there's
is from the
another
80s,
side
then
of
it's
things
like
too, which
huge
means we
budget.
should respect it, understand
Since
it,
the
and
making
get
of
back in touch
Kingfisher,
with
the
it and
eastwood
look after
freshwater
it.
cod has
For
been
me,
declared an
that's the
endangered
essence of
species
sports
and is
fishing.
now totally protected. It is therefore illegal to catch them.
If you accidentally catch one, you have to handle it with wet hands.
Wet hands. For your faith, enthusiasm, and dedication,
Let's
many
see.
thanks.
Let's see if Beatty's right. If it actually is 80s, surely there'll be something in the credits. Right?
I know what a river somewhere is. Yeah, we should
Good on
try to
you,
watch that. Do you think it's copyrighted? Can we watch it on the show?
I have no idea.
You don't even know what it is?
Nope. Never heard of it.
How about we just watch that Bob Mortimer show instead?
Probably won't be able to get away with that.
No, we won't be able to get away. It's still running, so.
Yeah, actually that would be good.
As I said, it's still something I watch. I don't care about the fish, I just watch because I like Bob Mortimer.
Great, thanks a lot.
Oh, Jeremy's spoken. Kiss it and put it back, you jerk. Messy. Oh yeah, listening to that. Yeah, the Emmanuel soundtrack is the best thing about this particular video. Although I'm sure that
It's from 1999.
1999. That's when it was made.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Beatty will get more enjoyment out of this than we would, but the soundtrack is where it is for me. Yeah.
That was very good.
Look at that shot. Fish.
Deep in thought.
Deep in fishy thought. There's a snake. And a frog.
We already
And a
saw
black
these
cat.
clips. See, the credits even have an email address in there.
Yeah, it has to be not 80s
So-
then. They're just using
It's
old
99,
gear.
2000.
They're using old gear, that's all it is. They got all the funding for a video and then
You were
didn't
gonna
bother to
say it
upgrade the
sounds
gear.
like
Yeah, it is Phil Emmanuel. It's Tommy Emmanuel's little brother. That's totally who it is. Nice work, Beardy. That's 10 points to you. You get all the internet points here.
I've got a couple you can have as well.
What's the water like? I've got some soap back there.
There was a barrel, a jacks, and a nest record.
Man, I was kind of hoping it would turn to Deliverance.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty...
Outtake. Got me in the face.
Ouch.
We'll see him.
For your invaluable assistance, we'd like to thank you. Why are you fading out the credits? I can't read them when they disappear like that.
You're not supposed to read the credits.
Ah! The Australian Bass Association, Freshwater Fishing Assembly, Native Fish Australia, The
They sure
Legends
do
of
like
Fishing.
bassists.
Bass. Bass! It's spelled the same, it's a different word.
They love their bassists. Milshine's a bassist.
Oh yeah. But what I was saying, they give me. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, okay. I would definitely wasn't going to comment on the gear. It was more just the when this was made. As I said, they're probably just like it's like Old Faithful. They've got the gear that they like to use, and they're not really willing to move on.
Yeah, whereas the last one that we watched, which Beardy you said you've watched before because you owned it, the Squidgy ones, every single thing that they had, they would be like advertising, like they were paid to push the Shimano newest range of reels, that rollout measuring thing that they had, a whole bunch of stuff, mainly Shimano stuff. They mainly advertise Shimano stuff, but yeah, it seemed to be sponsored with all their stuff, and this one seemed to be more like they
Poots made it home right at the end.
Oh, we just finished.
We just finished.
Yeah, fair enough.
The filming was done in '99.
That's what we
and
found
it
out
was
with the research here.
finished, and it was released in 2000.
Oh, we don't have any more fish, Poots. I'm sorry. That's
We're
it.
out of fishes.
Unless you want to watch Squidgy Secrets again.
I'm walking out if we have to watch that again.
Oh, and you know what? We've got no more videos in this house because you're moving.
Yeah.
We've taken them all away.
We
There's
don't
no
have
like,
extra
hey,
stuff
maybe
to
we
put
should
on.
watch something else. No, there's nothing. Unless you want to watch Christian Puppets again.
Probably not. I watched that. That's my like test tape these days. That's the one I use to like.
Because it's long.
Yeah.
It's the longest.
It's not the longest. I had longer ones, but just that one was the one that was there.
Sorry, Poots.
Sorry, Poots. As I said, we'll try. I want to have you
done.
actually on for an episode.
Yeah.
We'll do one where we make fantastic baskets or whatever.
Baskets. No, we should do the excited ladies stamping one so we can all laugh at her being excited about stamping.
Okay.
Poots said that she loves stamping, so we can do that.
Okay,
we
then
also
we'll do
have the
stamping.
baskets. We also have the quilting. We got a whole bunch of different.
We'll do
things.
stamping, and you can be in the
Tell us.
episode, Poots.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll zoom in. When I say Zoom, I mean Discord in, but
Discord.
But you know,
We haven't done it with tape time before. It's going to be interesting
it's
to
a
try and get
thing.
it to work.
I would enjoy that a lot, but I kind of want you to get settled into the new place before we start exploring that. We've got a bunch of
to
different
find out how much
things.
space I'm going to actually end up having.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be fun, Poots. So we'll let you know, like, because he'll inevitably rip the tape, and then he'll let us know specifically what we'll need for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think stamping is the easiest way to do it. Is to just
So we can
'cause
have
you
a
can just-
stamping episode.
you can just carve some shite in a potato and stamp with it. I don't know. We'll find out. It'll be fun. But next week you're still in the middle of a move, but you'll still be here, yeah?
Yeah. We haven't actually started moving yet because we don't have a house to move to.
If anybody has a
We're cleaning up.
recommendation, aside from no more poots, no poots, no stamping. We gotta save that for a good day. But like, Is there any other kind of genre or
Any topics or
idea,
anything you
topic
might want
that
us
you
to
might
cover?
want me to try to fixate towards? Because if Beardy or you don't come up with something interesting, I'm just going to go science. Because I think the idea of the science episode sounds fun. Hey, we got the snow! I love the snow. It's my favorite bit. Moving and renovation. So we should... Oh my god, I have a video that's called Wall.
This is Wall?
It's a video that you used to get with your wall stuff. We
Oh,
could probably do a home improvement.
Home improvement? Sounds
Should
fun.
we do a home improvement?
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay, we'll do a home improvement one because you're moving.
Whoa, is that his actual beard?
Yeah, that's his. That's actually.
Whoa,
have you not
dude.
tuned into Beardy stream before?
I haven't.
Oh, I have.
I should.
I've hung out. I've never said anything, but I've hung out. I know what Beardy looks like. I'm actually very
Let me get it
surprised
up.
that he turned up and hung out with
Get
us
on the
because I
follow
think
there.
that he's kind of a little bit big for us. But anyway, it's great that we got his attention with the fishing. We should do more fishing episodes so we can have Beardy on again.
Definitely.
We'll get Beardy on the Zoom.
We'll zoom him in.
Zoom him in. Yeah, that's right. Because Kato's obsessed with you and watches you all the time. So, yeah, but hey, all right, we'll do a home improvement. I'll work around home improvement.
Katobi's
stuff.
here too.
Hey, of course he always is. Did I say anything bad? Yes, every episode.
How much trouble are we in?
Too many.
3. All right.
All right.
Been here for a long time.
Hanging out with Beardy, watching all the fish. No more fish!
Not today!
Not for at least another month.
At least a month of no fish before more fish. Alright.
Oh boy. Home improvement sounds fun. Because that wall video I've got is still in its shrink wrap and everything.
Oh boy.
I'm going to have to
Fresh.
cut it fresh out.
Fresh tape. We'll open it live on stream.
Oh no, that means I don't get to see what's on it first. Alright, we'll do that. That'd be fun. It actually has plaster on it as well.
Oh boy.
Like, it is a filthy video. I don't know where the hell I got it, but it's filthy.
Very environmental educated.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll talk to you in a month or so.
That would be
We'll
awesome.
see about getting you on for something, whether it's a 4x4 or a fishies or
both.
Or both. We could do a mixture, like one video 4x4, one like fishies or something, so that we don't have to deal with it. Thank you for your YouTube.
There's a whole YouTube there. I'll go and give you the sub as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give
Subscribe.
you the big sub. Oh, look, he actually...
Bush Tucker. I thought he just did games. Okay, I've never seen this. I want to watch this.
Oh, I got the big sub on that.
Yeah,
one.
you go. I'm gonna look at that myself. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, like...
I like that he's the 71st person that was a bearded bushman, though.
I wonder what happened to the other 70, though.
I know. What happened to the other 70 guys?
What did you do with them, Beardy?
Killed them all and ate their flesh with some of those red berries.
It wasn't illegal in that part of the world.
Do you mean New South Wales?
There can be only one.
All right, we should sign off and deal with stuff.
Who should we raid? Let's find someone to raid
see you
real
next
quick.
week. Can you raid somebody nice?
I only ever raid nice people.
Raid a lady.
Have I ever raided an asshole?
I don't know, probably.
I'm not raiding Mango.
No mangoes.
No mangoes.
Mango boom.
Oh my god.
Who you gonna raid?
Maybe Jamie.
Do-do-do-do-do-do. Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
Blake's live. We could raid Blake.
Who's Blake? Do it.
Be the Blake show.
Okay, do it.
He stops in from time to time.
What's he doing?
He's
doing
playing
VNs. Nice. Do
yeah,
it.
he's playing a visual novel.
I love visual novels.
Danganronpa, which is all about murders and things like that.
Oh, cool.
So, we'll give him the raid.
Yeah, do it.
You're not an asshole, Chris. Anyway, most of the time. Alright. See you guys next time.
Stream of streams. It's a Twitch and fishing joke. Happy bouncing!
I can't get me.